Who from Yeovil and Nottingham Forest will progress to Wembley. It's Aaron Davis! It's a fine save! Jones had to try and get back. Did he get the ball? No, penalty! It's Collins against Mildenhall. It's 1-0 and first blood to Nottingham Forest. Stewart's there, hits the post! Forbes has dived in, it's another penalty! Perch, 2-0, and it's a great advantage to take to the City ground.
They won't need reminding. Nottingham Forest are the only European Cup winners ever to take part in the playoffs. They last played in them 4 years ago when Forest were 2-0 up with half an hour remaining and still went out. At the same time, Yeovil were winning the conference to enter the Football League. Now their paths cross in the race to reach the Championship. In the Coca-Cola Football League playoffs, League One semi-final second leg, it is Nottingham Forest 2-0 up against Yeovil, live on Sky Sports 1 and HD1 channel 408. And the Sky Digital viewers in League Two, the second leg playoff between MK Dons and Shrewsbury, 0-0 from the first leg. It's available through the red button. You might think little Yeovil are coming here to make up the numbers, but you'd be wrong. Nottingham Forest won the first leg with 2 penalties, and this tie has been ticking away for a week now. It's far from over. With us for the game is Gary Johnson, who took Bristol City up directly from League One. And I think, Gary, 3 promotions in 5 seasons for you. Fantastic achievement.
Yeah, thanks for reminding everybody. No, it's fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to this game with sitting up here and not having the pressure that the other 2 managers are under right now.
Absolutely, because, you know, Colin Calderwood and Russell Slade, to be fair, have been saying for a week now, this is not over.
I think that's right, it's definitely not over. I mean, looking at the previous game, Yeovil had quite a few opportunities, and if they can get 1 or 2, certainly a goal within the first 2 or 3 opportunities, then it's definitely game on. But if Forest get the goal, then as Colin Calderwood is going to say later, you know, then the game might be over.
Yeah. Forest finished 3 points ahead of Yeovil in the league, Gary, when it all finished off, and Forest won both games as well, 1-0 in the league. In fact, Yeovil haven't scored a goal against Forest this season, so that maybe is either working against them or for them, I don't know.
Do you know what, I don't think it means much. You know, this is a one-off game. I know it was a 2-legged playoff, but this game today, Russell Slade knows his team's got to win, and you know, there's no coming back from it. So I'm sure he's got them organised to attack in the first 20 minutes if he can, to try and create a chance that creates the goal that makes it a fantastic playoff tie.
You know, in the first leg, Forest had 2 shots on target. The 2 penalties, that's all they had. And
yeah,
Yeovil had plenty of chances like this one, didn't they?
Well, this is a great chance, and I mean, Aaron's done very well. He's used his pace, and normally he tucks them away because he's a good striker of the ball as well. And you know, if he gets another one of them chances today, they'll look for him to put it in. That was the second goal there, which, you know, they'll be very disappointed with, giving that penalty away and coming here 2 goals behind.
Yeah, Nathan Jones on James Perch, which Chris Commons put away. Yeah, that for the 1-0.
Oh,
and then Wayne Gray had a chance.
Yeah, that's a great chance, and well, I've seen him put them away as well.
And Marcus Stewart as well. You know Marcus very well, and he normally sticks those away, doesn't he?
He's very good in the air, Marcus, especially in the 6-yard box, and that was a great opportunity.
And then the second penalty was Terrell Forbes on Jack Lester. No doubt about that one before James Perch put that one away.
Well, it was a bit reckless. You know, if you go to ground and you get there second, generally it's a penalty.
And 2-0 it was. The only 2 shots on target Forest had. As you can see, their fans were delighted by that. So it looks like this then, in League One, in the playoffs, with Forest 2-0 winners at Yeovil. Blackpool were 2-1 winners at Oldham. Their second leg is tomorrow. You can see that live on Sky Sports. And of course, the final is at Wembley. And worth pointing out again that in the playoffs, the away goals rule doesn't apply. If we look at a couple of players, one from either side, who might influence the game. Nottingham-born and Nottingham fan as well, Chris Commons has plenty of ability. Can he win this game for Forest?
Yeah, I think he can. Anyone with quality can win a game like this. And, you know, the lad's shown great quality all season, and he's certainly got a goal in him from a wide position.
Commons for Forest. Marcus Stewart, you signed him for Bristol City. He's 34 years old now, but 236 career goals, Gary says. He knows where the net is.
It's been a great career for him, hasn't it? And nice for him to be at a club that's got into the playoffs, and he's done very well for Yeovil. And, you know, we wish him well.
Well, everyone goes through the mill in playoff games, players, fans, and certainly managers. Colin Calderwood and Russell Slade in the first leg knew all about it when it finished. And they're now applying the finishing touches. They're both with Johnny Phillips.
Colin, many of the supporters feel the hard work's been done. How do you and the players feel?
Well, I don't think they do. Otherwise, they wouldn't turn up with the enthusiasm that they're turning up in tonight. So we know it hasn't been done. And, you know, you might try and make it out that the fans expect us to win and it's done and dusted. But that's not true.
How do you expect Yeovil to come out at you tonight?
Well, it'd be interesting. You know, the game will unfold as any game will. You know, and the first goal is crucial in a normal 90 minutes. It'll either give us a fantastic advantage or them tremendous hope. So we obviously hope for the first, and we hope we have television viewers switching off as early as possible.
It's strange to be going into a game 2-0 up. Do you approach it any differently?
Not particularly. I think we've got to think about scoring goals. The more we score, the more Yeovil have to score. So we're positive in that, to that frame of mind. And we're really looking forward to what will be an enthralling evening, as all the other playoff games have been.
Russell, it would appear a mountain to climb. How are you going to go about it?
We're going to do our very best, obviously. We need to get a foothold in the game. I think that's the important thing. We don't need to be throwing anything away in the early stages.
Will you take confidence in the way you played in the first leg, if not the score?
Yeah, for sure. It was a good performance in many ways, but we didn't put the ball in the back of the net, and of course, that's what it's all about.
Is that the main area you think you have to improve on?
Yeah, we've got to, haven't we, tonight? We have to score goals away at Forest, and that's not easy at the best of times, and we've got to score 3 as well if we're going to go through, so it's not going to be easy.
How do the players feel? Are they confident?
Yeah, confident, fairly relaxed about it. They know exactly what they've got to do and what they've got to achieve tonight, so they're under no illusion.
And what about being away from home? Does that take the pressure off to some degree?
Well, I suspect it does, really, with obviously 28,000 Forest fans packed in the ground and about 1,500 up from Yeovil. I mean, that's a massive support if your team's doing well. If your team's not doing quite so well, then maybe it can turn our way.
Best of luck tonight.
Thank you.
Gary, what would you be saying if you were the manager and you were coming here 2-0 down? What would you say to your players?
Well, I think you've got to make sure that, you know, as Russell said, he said it won't be easy, but you've got to make sure your team believe it's possible. And if you can get that first goal, then the belief will just flood back. And you'd have been saying to your players in the previous leg, you played well enough, you created more chances maybe than Forest, and go out, enjoy it. You've got to realise it's a big game, but you've got to go beyond the call of duty today.
Would you mention the size of the crowd here? You know, 28, 30,000 here this evening. Yeovil would play in front of 5,000 or 6,000 normally. Will that intimidate them or inspire them?
Well, it'll intimidate them if they go a goal down, but it will definitely inspire them if they go a goal up. It's all about that first goal, and I know we keep saying it, but I think you'll see such a different game depending on who scores the first goal.
And just flip it around for a second, you're Colin Calderwood. What's the last message you're giving your players 2 goals up at home?
I think you've got to be solid. You mustn't let the opposition come at you. You've got to turn them on occasions. You've got to show the quality, and then just say, look, we've beaten, you know, 3 times now, doing what we do, our philosophy, go out, produce the same with a bit of passion, and our club will be going through to the final.
Well, we shall see. Yes, the final, and it is at Wembley this season. Let's go to our commentators, Gary Birtles and Rob Hawthorne.
And both teams are unchanged from the first leg. Forest manager Colin Calderwood keeping faith with Gary Holt and Scott Dobie. David Prutton, who's recovered from illness, is on the bench, along with Grant Holt, no relation, who had a thigh injury. Holt scored in both the league wins against Yeovil this season, but misses out despite the fact that Dobie hasn't scored in 21 months. The defence is key, so Calderwood will be relieved that John Curtis has recovered from the groin injury that he suffered a week ago. Russell Slade was pleased enough with the efforts of his team at home last Friday to name the same starting 11 again. Chris Cohen was a doubt with a slight strain, but it's considered worth the risk to go with him for what could be Yeovil's final game of the campaign. They have 31 goals shared this season between their front four. Top scorer Wayne Gray, Welshman Aaron Davis, veteran Marcus Stewart and Lee Morris, who can expect a frosty reception for his connection with Midland rivals Derby.
Forest will start with the same 4-4-2 they began with at Yeovil, and a big reason for the victory there was the disciplined organisation of the back four led by Breckin. In midfield, they've got youth and experience. Commons is the one they want on the ball, but against Yeovil in the first leg, the spine was very good. Led by Breckin, going through Gary Holt and up to Jack Lester up front. Two good outlets, Dobie the target man, Jack Lester will drop a little bit deeper. And again, the same 4-4-2 for Yeovil. Defended very well at the back against Forest in that first leg. Restricted them to two chances. Unfortunate for them, they were both penalties. Midfield for me is where they're strongest. They get the wide areas, they join in with the front two making a four, but they've got pace, they've got directness in that midfield and creation. Up front, Stewart, he's been in these occasions before, a big-time player. Morris, pace alongside him.
Well, the Yeovil travelling contingent believe. Do their team believe as well? It's not unprecedented to turn around a 2-goal deficit in the second leg of a playoff semi-final. 3 teams have done it before in this division, but only Bradford City have done it away from home, winning 3-0 at Sam Allardyce's Blackpool. It's a question of upsetting the odds, overturning the final league positions for Yeovil. It's back to their roots, their non-league days, when they were giant killers supreme. Forest looked to protect a 2-0 lead from the first leg in Somerset. Can they protect it in an intense atmosphere in the East Midlands tonight? Forest against Yeovil coming next. Well, they've come out in force in Nottingham. They've responded to the rallying call from Colin Calderwood, who's desperate that the majority of this crowd, which should make up just short of 30,000, should play their part and not get on the players' backs if things start to go wrong early on. Not exactly a smooth flowing start from Yeovil, and both managers said in the immediate aftermath of the first leg that the first goal would be crucial, and a week on, that still holds.
Yeah, without a doubt. I don't think you'll see Yeovil go gung-ho. It'd be silly to, it'd be suicidal to go all out first 15-20 minutes. They've got to respect Forest, they've got to keep Forest from scoring, and then just gradually work their way into the game.
Here's Guyot for Yeovil, looking for the captain, Nathan Jones. This is Aaron Davis to Anthony Barry. Jones again. The header went awry from Chambers, it fell to Morris. Stewart has managed to dig that one out. He was caught late by Commons, and the free kick is given.
It's a positive start for Yeovil. What they do, they play it through midfield really well. They've got pace in wide areas. They can pass it in the centre of midfield, and they created a lot of problems for Forest in the first leg. On a big pitch like this, they could exploit that.
Well, Paul Smith made some really key saves in the first leg, notably early on from Aaron Davis, but some special ones as well in the second half.
He was on the top of his game, wasn't he? Yeovil must wonder how they didn't get anything out of that game.
Jones and Barry over the kick. It's Barry who looks to test the goalkeeper, but he got a clear sight of that and fell on it gratefully.
That's a good idea, why not? Just try and test him out early in the game.
Here's Jack Lester. Guyatt sticking close to him. Now John Curtis up towards Doby, who was offside. Colin Calderwood has twice suffered heartbreak in the playoffs as a manager. Penalties affecting both outcomes. His Northampton side lost 5-4 in a shootout to Mansfield in 2004, and it was a Freddie Eastwood penalty during the game against Southend that knocked his side out a year later. And here they are coming into this game leading thanks to 2 penalties in the first leg. This is Chris Commons, who scored one. He's through as far as Forbes. He just dwelt on it a little, and Commons saw his moment, closed him down, but did foul him.
That's a couple early on that Chris Commons has perpetrated.
Sort of occasion yet again that Commons will relish. Here's Perch, the man who scored the second penalty. Swung it in, could have gone anywhere. Leicester then was looking for a more measured ball to be played into him by the youngster.
Yeah, it's a good chance to put early pressure on Yeovil, because they'll be nervous coming in here with this tremendous crowd. That's what it's all about, isn't it? More or less a sellout, fantastic atmosphere.
Sort of occasion that Forest need to rise to. They're proud of their status, and rightly so, as European champions of the past. Whereas the only silverware that Yeovil used to be able to go for was the FA Trophy. But when they did finally win it, final wasn't at Wembley. They could be at Wembley though this month. Doby takes a tumble, and it was merely that. Nothing on the part of Forbes in referee Graham Pole's judgment.
It was accidental. There was definitely a clip there on Doby, but Graham Pole saw it as an accident.
Alan Wright. There's McGugan.
It'll be interesting to see how the young lads in this Forest team react in front of a crowd like this, knowing how close they are to Wembley. McGugan, terrific talent. Perch, another young lad. So big evening for those two. There's a lot of experience in the Forest team. Breckin leads by example at the back. He was terrific at Yeovil. And as I said before, the spine of the team, protection Holt gave them, and the part Jack Lester played, so important to them.
Here's Guyatt, dealing coolly with the threat of Leicester. There's McGugan, who lost out to Chris Cohen. It's back by Gray to Forbes. And up towards Marcus Stewart with the header back. This is Barry. Away by Gary Holt. Only as far as Guyatt. This is Jones, who's the captain because Terry Skiverton still out injured. Marcus Stewart looking for the run of Lee Morris here, who took a swing at it.
It's poor choice there by Morris, and he knows it. Gets the ball in the box, lovely threaded ball through, we see from Marcus Stewart. Just waits, plays it to perfection. Now he wants to just stop it. He's in the box, and he did exactly what Forest wanted him to do there. Try and shoot from an acute angle. Should have more nous in those sort of areas. Like him, he has nous.
The importance of the first goal shouldn't be mistaken for the importance of an early goal here by Yeovil. They'll be quite satisfied if they can get to the hour mark, certainly with this scoreline, and bring a little bit of nervous tension in for the final third of the game.
I think that's the game plan exactly. It's foolish just to go and throw everything forward early in the game, because they know Forest have quality in the side and get punished so easily.
By Jones towards Marcus Stewart, but too much on it for the veteran striker. Four clean sheets in his last 5 matches here for Paul Smith. Another one tonight, and Forest will be at Wembley. This is the only division without a finalist so far. Blackpool and Oldham to play their second leg tomorrow, but 3 places at Wembley already have been taken. 3 remain to be taken, 2 of which will be claimed tonight. Remember that the MK Don Shrewsbury match is available to you via the red button and our interactive choice. Here's Chris Commons. This is Alan Wright, who's on loan from Sheffield United, from where he was actually released today.
where you feel Forest are strongest at the back because of that vital experience. Wright, Curtis, Breckin, Chambers. That's a big reason why the first leg went in their favour.
There's Perch. Derby looking to leave it behind. Got a shove from Scott Guyot, who protests the decision.
Well, he is very laid back, but he wasn't happy with that decision. Actually challenged fairly there on Dobie.
Well, Commons scored a penalty in the first leg. When he tends to score from other situations, they are pretty spectacular, and he's one of the volunteers who stepped forward for this.
And the other one could take a mean free kick as well, McGugan.
It is McGugan who hits it, and it's fisted away by Mildenhall.
No real confidence there from the young lad, was there? He has got the ability, the confidence. The wall's not the bravest. Mildenhall does well in the end because it has come straight through the wall.
Last goal that McGugan scored, one of only two he has scored this season, was a free kick against Gillingham in March. It's Commons trying to land that one in front of the goalkeeper, who was being put off there by Leicester's presence.
It's disappointing when that happens. When you've got a set piece, corner, just put the pressure on, make them defend it. Don't give silly fouls away.
Steve Mildenhall has turned 29 since the first leg. He reached that birthday last Sunday. Header clear by Gary Holt. Here's Dobie. Gary Holt. Right. This is Leicester. Away by Guyot. Bounce beats Holt. It's Cohen. And now Barry. Chris Cohen, nice football from Yeovil. This is Stewart. And he's picked out Lee Morris. Gray and Cohen and Stewart have all gone into the middle. Gray challenging for it. Good header clear though by Breckin.
That's how important he is to them, Breckin. It's a terrific ball in there by Morris, and his concentration is spot on there.
Breckin, who went through 2 promotions with Wigan, but having helped to get them into the Premiership, didn't make an appearance there. Here's Stewart. Aaron Davis. He's been pursued by Commons, who just leaned into him.
Silly area to give a free kick away.
Aaron Paul, who, if reports are to be believed, may be in charge of his penultimate game. Suggestions that he may retire at the end of the season, so I wonder if a playoff final will be heading his way.
Possibly.
Jones lifts in the free kick. It was Cohen who tried to keep it alive and headed it back to Alan Wright. Forbes is the last man back here for Yeovil. Now Lindegaard. Morris. Guyot. Not a bad attempt from Scott Guyot, who hasn't scored this season.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's not a bad effort for a centre-half. Steadies himself, takes it very early, good first touch, and that's only just gone wide. You say centre-halves can't strike. It's the target, and Smith scrambling, he saw it wide for the post, but I knew he got that sort of shot. I had him at Gresley Rovers when I was with Paul Futter a few years ago. He would have struck him like that.
He obviously listened to something you taught him then. Scott Guyot hasn't scored in over 2 years now. This goal was against another of his former sides, Oxford.
Again, Shorey and Breckin there, pressure, Marcus Stewart.
Mr. Slade, who grew up here in Nottingham. His family at the game tonight. Some of his family are away on holiday, but he's got cousins here. Actually grew up as a Nottingham Forest fan and supported them at Wembley when they played there in the 1979 League Cup final. But he would be quite happy to deny these Forest fans a trip to Wembley this year.
Yeah, and he took his team temping bowling before the game today, just to calm them down a little bit. A strange one, that. I want to be able to do that with my back.
Back by Scott Dobie. Well, he means business, doesn't he, Colin Calderwood?
Well, he was like that as a player, wasn't he? He's just trying to be like Terry the Kit Man, who just wears shorts and a t-shirt in -6 in winter.
Nathan Jones lining up the free kick, urging Lindegaard forward. Towards Gray. And the header clear by Breckin.
Keep it away from Breckin in the air.
Here's Morris. And again.
Like a magnet to Breckin at the moment, isn't it?
Barry. Tried to stretch for it, but he found Barry. And the header back by John Curtis.
Again, that's not the sort of service Marcus Stewart wants. He wants it to his feet so he can turn and bring people into play. Surprised Yeovil have not got it a little bit wider for the players they've got out there. Big pitch, and it's the way to get behind for us. If you play it down the throats, Chambers will love that, Breckin will love it. Try and test the fullbacks out.
Here's Morris. Davis free to his left, but he's done for it himself.
Well, I said he picked the wrong option earlier. I think he did again. Davis is in a lot of space here. Picks it up and sees a gap. Look at the position Davis is in there. Just late into his pass. He's bearing down on goal.
Here's Commons. Barry. Jones. It's Chambers who climbs. Stewart. Barry. Now Forbes. Lindegaard. Gray. Magugan. Curtis looking for options closer to him. Finds Perch. Dobie. Magugan. Stewart's.
Well, that's twice he's been forced to put the ball out of play. Marcus Stewart not like him. That's what Forrest have got to do, close him down. Russell Slade will be relatively happy with this so far. Forrest have not caused his team any real problems going forward yet. Yeovil Hall had that one save from the free kick from Magugan. They've acquitted themselves well, his team.
Here's Cohen. Now Forbes. Bryant. Breckin lets it run.
He held his hand up there, Guy, rightly so. They just don't want to play direct, to play it to feet.
Offside flag is up here against Marcus Stewart. Yeovil needing to find 2 goals from somewhere, and Forest having conceded more than 1 in a home game in their last 13 here. The only visitors to score more than 2 here this season have been Scunthorpe, who won 4-0 in October, and Leyton Orient, who won by a 3-1 margin in December. A 2-goal margin is what Yeovil need to earn a penalty shootout at the least.
So the crowd are vitally important for Forest. The expectations here are massive, as we know. You just look at the crowd, going to get behind the team. Comfortable at the moment, but you know, football changes very quickly.
Here's Leicester. For Commons. Trying to push it back to Ivan Wright, but it did him no favours, and Gray's won it back for Yeovil, but the ball had actually run out.
Not happy with that, Gray, but Paul saw it as a bit of obstruction there on Commons.
Showing some interest in getting forward, as is Chambers, and they've both made moves for this free kick, which Commons looks to swing in towards Chambers, and as Leicester knocks that up in the air, there's a suggestion that there might have been a push there on Chambers.
There's a possibility that one of the Forest players seem to go up for it.
Here's Leicester. Off Nathan Jones. Forest corner.
He's been important for them, Jack Leicester, in the weeks coming to the end of the season. A really good first game at Yeovil. Difficult to pick up. He drops short, and you don't know whether they go with him as a centre-half or pass him onto your midfield.
It's McGugan's corner. Looking back across. Played by Lindegaard and then by Barry. Right. Here's McGugan. One back by Davis. That's Morris. Here's Cohen. Davis switches it. There's space here for Gray. Lindegaard's made a good run to his right. It's Andy Lindegaard's cross. Chambers with a header up. Davis challenging for it.
Davis went in with no real conviction there. Had he been a bit more dominant, could have been a different outcome.
They broke well on the right then, Gray and Lindegaard. And it very nearly yielded a reward for Yeovil. They got into a decent position then.
That's where they're going to get the joy, I think, down the flanks. They've got to mix the delivery up though, not just put it in. So Breckin and Chambers can win it all the time. Whip it in with pace along the surface. Just try and mix it up as much as you can.
There's Forbes finding Barry. Now Guyot. Chambers. Veering header by Guyot, who got caught in the face accidentally then by Dobie, I think. Here's Barry. Here's Gray. That's against Wright. Wright is still on the ground, but Yeovil play on here with Barry. Now Cohen. Barry. Just got back to his feet now. The big defender. Jones. Header away by Breckin. It's Anthony Barry. It's away from goal.
They've got a lot of good possession there, but then they just put that ball. Jones put it straight back down the throat of Chambers and Breckin. He's a big, strong boy. He'll be fine. Concentration good. It's backing in as you're allowed to do. Just catches one right in the nose. Not intentional.
Right up there again. Here's Leicester. Wright has burst forward. Gray trying to keep up with him.
Watching bombing forward for Aston Villa. Him on one side, Steve Stonehill for his play on the other. Oh, a joy to watch in that system.
There's Leicester. By Cohen. Stewart rolls it into the path of Aaron Davis. Morris makes a move for him. Davis! And Yeovil have hope! The tie is now back in the balance as the deficit is halved.
Well, that's where I said the danger would come from. He was a danger in the first leg. He pulled that save out of Smith early in the game. He cuts in so well. His pace gets him away, but where's the defending? Where's the fullback gone? It's a long way out. Nobody closes him down. That's a terrific strike. Drills it hard and low. But defending, not the best, you have to say. Comes through a lot of bodies. Smith cannot see it. Checks inside, a bit of acceleration. Gets it on target, and that's the important thing. Look at the delight. Forest fan there, but he wants his team desperately to get back in, and I think they've acquitted themselves well. They've been disciplined in what they've done in this game so far. They've not gone gung-ho. Look at the support they've got there over the moon. And the one thing I said that could cause Forest problems is the directness, the pace through midfield. And now the pressure mounts on Forest.
Well, now it's a different story. Forest 2 up from the first leg, have seen that lead halved by the man who scored in Yeovil's only previous victory against Nottingham Forest. A league match 19 months ago, Davis scored in a 3-0 victory at Hewish Park. And he's got the first goal that Yeovil have managed this season against Forest in the 4th meeting between the clubs.
He's just done something that not many can do. He just put it over the Brian Clough stand. I've never seen anybody kick the ball as high as the Brian Clough stand. It's gone on the roof.
That's the distance he had to cover.
That checks up doing, that does. Don't go that far on the holidays.
Collins hurls this one in, and Forbes meets it. Right, away by Gray. Loose touch by Perch, and Davis is onto it again. Then looking for movement, Stewart was static, but it's found Gray. Wayne Gray's cross. Chambers comes to meet it, but here's Jones. Lee Morris. And it's struck against McGugan for a Yeovil corner.
Well, they're rattled at the moment, Forest. Yeovil are getting it wide quickly, and seems to be a lot of space opening up for them. Again, crowd, so important now. Don't get on the back of the team. Just got to get behind them. They're still in the driving seat, still in front.
Smith was defiant in the first leg, beaten already in the second. With a man taking the corner here, Aaron Davis. Stewart!
Well, what a strike this is. And you just know this man can pull something out the bag. It's good technique. Just goes over the bar. Smith sees it over, and look at the manager's reaction. He must be delighted with his team.
Well, the nervous tension is being felt. They're trying to find it within themselves to encourage.
Easy to have a go at your team. It's difficult, maybe sometimes, to get behind them when you know it isn't going well. Those fans have got to do that now. They're one of the best supported teams, without a doubt.
There's McGugan. Across comes Jones and deals with it in a no-nonsense fashion.
Well, he'll be trying to make amends for the penalty he gave away in the first leg. I'm sure Forbes will be doing the same. Rash moment, 2 minutes from time.
By McGugan. Maybe stuck his foot in. Stewart will come off the Forest man last. There's Chambers. Dobie, that's a nudge, got it out of the way.
The thing for Colin Corderwood at the moment will be Forest's inability to create anything from open play so far. They had the McGugan free kick that made Milton Hall make a save. It was a comfortable one. So far, not had to work him from open play, and 26 minutes in already.
The touch for Stewart. There's Dobie. Trying to keep him out there, but Dobie's got the edge on him. Leicester's in the middle, but he's going to look to go all the way, and it's just wide.
That's terrific ability. The second favourite to get onto that ball, but that's desire for you. That's lifted the crowd. Does ever so well there. Gets towards the edge of the box. He's only got Jack Lester there, tries to curl it far post, and you've got to say, why not? Spots the corner, goes for it, just doesn't hit the target. Very few options for him, apart from Jack Lester there.
21 months since his last goal in a 2-0 win at Gillingham for Scott Dobie, the majority of whose appearances this season have come from the bench. Colin Calderwood showing faith in him tonight despite Grant Holt's availability. He's on the bench tonight. Jones, away by Gary Holt. And this is Davis. Cross by Jones.
It's poor, he steadied himself, he put the ball in a good area, just didn't deliver.
Dobie lets it run, nice idea, but Commons just couldn't take it in his stride. Here's Lester.
I think Jack Lester had a couple of good options on there, just hung on a little bit too long.
Stewart. Morris. Barry. Now Forbes. Gray. Stewart. Here's Gray again. Chambers waited tight for him to get his cross in.
Well, he's the man who's given Yeovil hope. Doesn't he do well? His technique's good. Concentrates on just hitting the target, not knocking the spots off it. Drills it hard and low, and he's given his team a big chance now to get back into this tie.
Aaron Davis is in the Welsh squad that's playing New Zealand the day before the playoff final, but I'm sure he'll quite happily tell John Toshak that he has other commitments. He'll quite happily take that playoff final place if Yeovil can find at least one other goal from somewhere. Possibly more to secure it without the need for penalties. Forest, though, looking to regain their grip. It's got away from Alan Wright. Gray. Cohen trying to move it on.
Yeovil haven't allowed Forest. There's a time on the ball to get it to Commons to create. The first leg, the first half of the game, Commons was always on the ball. He was always the threat. So far, he's had very little possession.
Here's McGugan. Leicester's offside.
And the flag went straight up, and Forest fans not happy.
Davis. Morris. Stewart. Lee Morris! Great save, Stewart! Wonderful reaction! A great double save from Paul Smith.
Brilliance, absolute brilliance. Don't they know it? Terrific build-up. Morris this time does make the right choice. Lovely 1-2. Look how big he makes himself up. But look how quickly he gets back up. You think Stewart's just going to tap it into an empty net after this save. Gets up, and look at that for a save. That is sheer brilliance. He thought it was in.
Lindegaard. Back in by Cohen. Cleared by Perch. Lindegaard struck it.
This seems to be going perfectly to plan for Russell Slade. He would have said, right, just work hard, concentrate. First 15-20 minutes, we can get a goal, great. And the fans might start getting on the back of the home team. And to be fair, they're not yet, but there's a few anxious looks. And rightly so at the moment. What they're not doing is shutting Davis down. They're not double back. They're leaving Curtis one-on-one with him all the time. McGugan's got to get back in there, or Perch to help out, because at the moment he's causing them big problems.
Again, Milden Hall seeing all the action at the opposite end, and Smith, very little he could do about the goal, but what a crucial double save from Morris and Stewart that could turn out to be. And Morris again here, causing problems. Davis available.
He's limited himself, and rightly so. Again, about options, choices. Again, I think he's picked the wrong one.
Here's Curtis. Dobie.
Forest fans will be desperately hoping they'll be following their East Midlands rivals Derby County, their fans down to Wembley, just up the A52.
Here's Commons, Holt, Leicester, and cleared in the end by Gray.
It's the first real opening of the card there. Hole just started to appear there for Jack Leicester.
Holt, Stewart dived in with a challenge.
He was superb in the first leg, Gary Holt, with the back four, good protection.
Whoever Forest and Yeovil will play in the final will be decided tomorrow. You'll see Blackpool against Oldham, the second leg live on Sky Sports 1 and HD1 tomorrow from noon. Great day of football tomorrow, of course, because that is followed by the FA Cup final. The first one back at Wembley and the top two in the country there to contest it. Tomorrow from 2, Chelsea against Manchester United, Sky Sports 1 and HD1. A choice of playoff action for you tonight. By the red button you can see the second leg of MK Dons against Shrewsbury. Here Yeovil have their breakthrough. They've got it in 22 minutes. They've made the Forest crowd a little bit nervous.
Just spotted Curtis having a word with McGugan, saying maybe you've got to help me out a little bit here. He's having too much space to run at me.
Chambers. Here's Curtis. Curtis. Leicester. Here's McGugan. Curtis rolling it into the path of Leicester. And Leicester allowed to turn. Guard comes in. Leicester went down looking for it.
Well, he got the penalty in the first leg in similar area. He does it so well, Jack Leicester. Yeovil know that. His first touch is so good, he'll turn at you and you just daren't touch him.
There was a reckless challenge from Forbes that gave away that penalty for a challenge on him in the first leg in Somerset a week ago. Went to ground looking for another one then. Graham Poll certainly wasn't convinced. He seemed to be close enough to it. It's over Guyot's head and Dobie could be in here. Jones cuts out the cross.
Doesn't he do well there to spot that danger and get back in so quickly? Well, there were claims for a penalty. Jack Leicester turns, does well, knows that Forbes gave the one away. This time, just gets a piece of the ball. And Graham Poll, what a great position there.
Good position and good decision. Commons cross. Right. Curtis. Forward by Holt. Chambers back to Breckin. Breckin urged to shoot. Opts instead to find John Curtis.
You could just tell he was a centre-half there. You could hear the crowd saying shoot, but wasn't that confidence to have a go.
Chambers yet to score his first goal for Nottingham Forest, but his central defensive partner Breckin's got 3 so far this season. He was actually the joint top scorer here last year, and amongst his 10 was a goal in a win against Yeovil.
How good is that when you've got a centre-half weighing in with that many goals? And they have Commons who can provide that quality for him.
Jones. Lee Morris. He's been brought back for an earlier challenge on Nathan Jones.
What's surprising at the moment is McGugan's playing out on the right-hand side with Perch playing inside. I thought Perch with a little bit more experience might be better closing Davis down a little bit.
Cross kick played by Commons. Brave header by Forbes. Might have paid the penalty for it because he got caught by the boot of Leicester, and the referee wants instant attention.
Jack Leicester had every entitlement to go for the ball. He dived full length to head that. It was brave. But you can't have a go at Jack Leicester for going for that. There's no real marks on him. You thought he must have had a couple of stud marks. And look where he dives here. He's low. Jack Leicester, every entitlement to go for it.
Character Forbes, he's bounced straight back up again. Player who was part of the West Ham youth team with Joe Cole and Michael Carrick that won the FA Youth Cup back in 1999.
Well, I don't know what's being said there to James Perch. I was just surprised that the young boy McGugan's being asked to play right. He's got great ability, but on a big occasion like this, maybe defensive quality's got to be a little bit better, and Perch gives them that more discipline, maybe. Gary Holt's come to this side as well now, maybe to help out. His experience would be a big help in nullifying the Davis threat.
Jones against McGugan.
Calder wouldn't be looking for that half-time whistle to get his troops back in there and vitalise them, give them that belief they're still winning this game. It's the case at half-time.
Cohen has looked to loop one forward for Gray. He may be a little fella, but Alan Wright, in a contest that he didn't seem to be favourite to win with Gray, somehow got it away.
Well, that's experience for you. You knew if he was going to head it back, he was taking a big chance. That's true. Closing down Commons every time he gets an opportunity to get on the ball. There's somebody snapping at his heels. You pick out the danger men and you try and nullify it. And that's what Yeovil have done very well this first half.
Free kick. Let's go.
It's got to be better quality than that. Your centre halves run 75 yards to try and get on the end of it, and you put it straight out of play. And there's a man who thinks exactly the same as that. I'm sure he, as a player, would run up 75 yards, and the quality when he was playing with people like Glenn Hoddle would have been major quality for him.
With Glenn Hoddle in his time at Swindon, with whom he won 3 playoff finals as a player. Here's Dobie. By Lindegaard. Has given the free kick away.
The centre halves will stay back this time. Chris Commons looking at them, saying, "Why aren't you going up?" They're probably saying, "Well, when's it last time you put it down for a goal kick?"
Looking for Leicester from this one. Guyot is enough to get it away to Stewart.
Slade would have said, if you get a goal in this first half, then just calm it down after that. Don't think, right, let's go and get another, because things can open up, and I think they've done it very well. They've closed down well after that. They've not gone all out for another one. We'll be delighted if they go in, this goal in front.
As they've lived through that moment of vulnerability, having just scored. Here's Stewart. Davis. Marcus Stewart.
behind the cross. Holt's definitely come across to this side where Davis has been causing the problems.
Here's Stewart looking to play Aaron Davis in now. Morris wants it played early and nearly got there. Stewart! Well, that's not even gone for a goal kick.
Well, you just don't expect that from Marcus Stewart, do you? Coming out reasonably quickly. Again, good incisive passing. They played early. A side foot across the face of the goal. Morris nearly gets on the end of it. When it comes out to him, you think, well, he's going to hit the target. He's got that experience, and Russell probably thinks, okay, nearly hit the corner flag. Well, they had the lion's share of the attempts in the first leg, and look at that again. They've had it again. They've got 1 goal and 5 on target, and only 1 for Forest. They don't look to be playing like a home team at the moment. Here's Jones. Headed back by Alan Wright. Right, let it go.
Well, they came with high hopes, but if they thought it was going to be a cruise, they're thinking again.
Well, both managers did say that first goal is going to be vitally important. To be fair, Forest haven't gone into the shell, but they've just got to fashion a way back into this game. They've got to play around Yeovil a little. The man who's looked the most dangerous has been Jack Lester when it's played into his feet.
Birch. Here's Commons. Leicester. Pursued by Cohen. He's won a free kick.
Well, again, Jack Lester, the man, dropping deep. See how he drops deep, picks the ball up, and he's direct. He goes at people, he commits defenders, and he gets his rewards. Free kick on the edge of the box.
Well, Jack Lester was around for Forest's last painful defeat in the playoffs. Their only experience of these end-of-season games when a Des Walker own goal led them to an aggregate defeat by Sheffield United. There was an initial foul on Chris Commons that went unpunished, and Graham Poll making the point that it was for the challenge on Leicester that he's given the free kick.
Yeah, Yeovil just trying to be clever there, saying, well, I think you give it for the first one.
McGugan gave Yeovil a bit of a worrying moment earlier. He's another option here.
Will he take it, or will Commons take over this time?
It's McGugan, and it's disappointing.
I think if I would have been Chris Commons, I might have just taken responsibility there.
Well, an uncertain half-time approaches for Colin Calderwood.
He's going to rethink the midfield, maybe.
Gray. There's Jones. Barry. Here's Gray, who was down injured a moment ago, but there goes the half-time whistle, and if Forest thought this was going to be a comfortable walk towards Wembley, they are very much mistaken. Aaron Davis has given them plenty to think about with his goal, and Paul Smith with a fine double save has kept Forest in it. But at half-time they trail 1-0, though they do still lead 2-1 on aggregate.
Yes, you can feel the nerves around this place, all apart from the Yeovil corner, of course. Great first half by the green and whites, and Forest are rocking a little bit here. We'll have the user Gary Johnson coming up in a second or two. Great first half for Yeovil. It may well be David against Goliath, but Yeovil have slayed him in the first half.
But
here at the City Ground, it's Nottingham Forest 0, Yeovil 1. A really great first half for Yeovil, taking it up where they left off in the first leg, it has to be said. And Gary Johnson is with us, and really they deserve to be winning the game, but they're still behind.
Yeah, they're still behind, but it was a great start. And, you know, Russell Slade and Steve Thompson have obviously got the lads ready for that first 20 minutes. We said they'd have to put Forest under pressure, and they did, and they had the chances, and credit to them, but they can't sit back now. You know, there's a lot at stake. They've only got 45 minutes to get at least a goal, but they have put themselves in with a great chance.
Yeah, they flew out the traps, didn't they? Must have been on raw meat all week. Even Marcus Stewart making big tackles.
Well, Forest were in a strange position, weren't they? You know, what do? Do they go for the early goal quickly, or do they just, you know, try and cover and stop Yeovil? But they haven't stopped Yeovil, and so they haven't been solid, and they haven't got at Yeovil either. So they've been neither here nor there at the moment.
Aaron Davis, a player you brought to the club from Southampton.
Yeah,
reserves really, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Southampton's reserves and youth team, and he's a great athlete. He's a great runner with the ball, and if he's got space, I'm surprised how much space he's got. He can run with the ball, and he strikes a super goal there.
What about the run Lee Morris makes across the face of goal?
Well, that made the goal. You watch the way he wrong foots 2 or 3 defenders, and the goalkeeper has to take one stride to the right, and that leaves the space that Aaron puts the ball in. So it was a great run by a clever player, Lee Morris.
And Marcus Stewart might be 34 years old, but he's putting himself around tonight, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, and you know, he's had a couple of chances. That was great technique there, and I've seen him score them, especially in training. But
that left foot.
Yeah, that left foot. It's a good strike and unlucky.
And a double save by Paul Smith when Lee Morris and Marcus Stewart combined. Really has kept Forest ahead, hasn't it?
Unbelievable. You know, goalkeepers train every day very hard, making saves, getting up and making more saves. This is training groundwork. This is great little bit of play by Marcus and Lee Morris, and he's got to lash that. He's got to smack that in the top corner with all his might, and that goes in. But I think he had to stab it out from under his feet a little bit, and he sort of stabbed it rather than struck it. Great save, though. Great save.
Fantastic first half for Yeovil. Obviously, the crowd are getting more and more nervous, aren't they? What are the managers talking about now? What's Colin Calderwood saying to Forest?
Well, Colin will be saying we need to liven up, boys. You know, we haven't really started playing. We haven't given this crowd that are desperate to sing their way through to Wembley. We haven't given them anything yet, and I think he's got to liven them up, and I'm sure if he is a person that throws teacups, he'll be doing that now.
What about Russell Slade? Were you a bit surprised that once Yeovil scored, they just sat off a little bit? Yeah, they did. I think, you know, as Gary said in commentary, that maybe Russell said if we get the first one, we might need to just settle down, regroup and go for the next one. But he'll be saying now they've got 45 minutes only. They don't want to leave it to the last 5 or 10 and leave themselves open to get that sort of second goal. So they've got to go for it as they did in the first half. Well, it's half-time, time for the managers to do their work. It's their chance, and in the first half they made a few notes and had a few thoughts in the old head. But now they're giving it to their players. Second half to come. Well, a bit of wizardry in the first half, and Yeovil are 1 goal up here, but they are 2-1 down overall. And Forest, you know, in 1.5 games so far, have only had 3 shots on target, 2 penalties and a free kick, so none from open play. We're back into the second half again. Gary Birtles and Rob Hawthorne.
Well, Yeovil so far have lost every away game against other sides in the top 6, except at Blackpool, where they drew. But a win alone is not enough. They need another goal from somewhere. So at the moment, Forest are still pointing Wembley way, but there's a very nervous 45 minutes ahead before they can claim their place once and for all. That Aaron Davis' first half goal has unsettled them, no question about it. Commons trying to put them under immediate pressure from the kick-off, but it's Davis's goal that's put Forest under pressure.
And it's the pace of Yeovil that caused Forest problems in the first half. They realised early on that if they got it wide, a lot of space to run into, lovely big pitch. Players with pace can exploit that. What Forest have got to do is get Chris Commons on the ball second half as much as possible.
Stewart has got Gray on the ball here, and Stewart and Morris are breaking to his left. Commons got back and was tripped. Chambers wasn't to know that and deflected it wide anyway. He's
Good tracking back by Chris Commons. We know what he's like going forward. Great ability. A hint of a challenge and just clips. Didn't look a lot of contact there.
Nice challenge. Coleman certainly made the most of. Leicester was fouled by Forbes.
I think that's possibly a way through for Forest, if they get the ball into Jack Leicester's feet. His first touch is so good, and he brings midfield into play. They can go past him, they can come on to him.
He's trying to swing it in. Jones saw it all the way though. That was Perch. Breckin helps it on. And now Forbes up against Leicester.
Well, he gave one away, didn't he, in the first leg? Forest fans howling for a penalty there. It's the pressure from Jack Leicester that caused a problem.
McGugan's corner, and it's in! And it's Scott Dobie with his first goal in 21 months, who's restored Forest's 2-goal advantage.
It's all about the quality of the ball in the box. Said it first half. The quality's there. You give your strikers, your centre-half, the chance to attack it. And doesn't he attack it well? Jumps well, keeper in no man's land. McGugan's ball in, pace whipped in. Mildenhall comes nowhere near it. You see him here, and he has to get back. Can't get back quick enough. Textbook header. There, he's lost it. Downward header. Look at the Trent end, absolutely over the moon. Mounted to climb again for Yeovil. Just what they didn't want. Goal early in the second half. What a response from Forest. Must have been some team talk at half-time.
Well, there may have been some raised eyebrows when Dobie was included with Grant Holt available again. But he's justified his selection well and truly now with that goal. It means the situation is as it was at the start. And the Forest fans are relieved and happy.
You can just hear the pressure and the frustration disappear from the Forest fans when that ball hit the back of the net.
Stewart. Lindegaard. It's Barry. Now Aaron Davis, who gave Yeovil such hope with that first half goal. And how key is that double save from Paul Smith in the first half going to turn out to be now?
Well, you're talking about Davis there. Who's over there marking him this time or helping out? It's Perch. McGugan's back in the centre of midfield. Perch has gone out there. It's a good move by Colin Calderwood.
Chambers rather comes in to break it up. He was looking for Dobie, he was desperate to hold his run and stay onside then. It was Barry, in comes Curtis.
How do Yeovil respond? Do they go flat? Do they feel sorry for themselves, think they're out the tie? You've got to believe they've still got a chance.
Leicester tries to curl it. Curls it wide.
Well, Forbes led him there. You saw exactly what he wanted to do. And the gap just opened for him. And he's so good at doing that. But when he picks it up, nobody dare touch him because of the way he goes about his job.
Well, he's delighted with his team's efforts at the start of the second half, and he's every reason to be.
Yeah, without doubt. Perfect start of the second half. I would have said, right, you were second best first half, all over the pitch. Pick it up. Be dominant, take the game to them. When you get the chance, put quality in the box. You did do it in the first half, you've certainly done it this second half.
Well, he was the beneficiary of the quality ball that they did manage to get in there.
Well, he's a sort of striker who likes that delivery. Something to attack.
Leicester. Just watching it out.
Well, I think Forbes calling maybe it was a goal kick, not a corner. Came off his head and then came off his toe. It was a corner.
Initially, the Forest fans were howling for a handball and a penalty to be given against Forbes. They didn't get that, but they got their reward anyway from the corner that did result. Here's Jones.
More of a balance to the midfield of Forest now. It's a little bit lopsided first half. And we've got Holt in there with McGugan. I think he feels more comfortable in there, McGugan. Perch, he'll close you down. Gives Curtis a bit of help on that flank.
Comments. It's Gray's cross. Marcus Stewart.
Forest will want to let him get in between like he did there. It's a decent delivery. The agony's on the face of the Yeovil supporters now. I thought they were right back in, just gone away from them a little bit again. You can't stop believing. They'll still believe, the fans. The players have got to respond to that.
The smiles have returned there.
They certainly weren't there at half-time.
Tangling with Leicester, who's emerged unscathed. It's Dobie again, and Jones came across.
Well, Jones conceded one in a similar area. Graham Poll seemed to be a long way away from that. Difficult for him to see. The assistant was in line, but he wouldn't have been able to give that.
Here's Leicester. Gone alongside Jones for that decision. The referee made his mind up instantly. Scored from a corner from the other side. This time it's Chris Commons who places it to take. Dobie in there again. So too Chambers and Breckett.
Again, needless foul given away. Just got an equaliser, keep the pressure on in that box.
Forbes. Guyatt. Here's Nathan Jones. By Chambers.
Smith just put that in the stand, but how important will that double save of his be in the context of this game? The second save was just pure instinct, fabulous save.
In fact, over the course of the two matches, he's made some very important saves. The Nottingham Forest goalkeeper. And if he gets up into the Championship with Forest, he could well be facing a couple of his old clubs next season. Southampton, who of course are still in the Championship now, and Charlton have just been relegated there. Here's Guyatt, now Jones. Lee Morris turns it on to Stewart. Here's Davis, how they need him to flicker back into life again, Yeovil. Curtis and Perch doubling up on him now, though. Making life extra difficult, but he's pretty durable. Great perseverance from Aaron Davis, but equally so from Curtis. He got his cross away magnificently in the end to Gray.
Oh, what a fabulous little passage of play that was from Davis. He turned everybody inside out. He sent the stewards the wrong way in that far corner there. Terrific. How many times does he do this? Give Curtis credit. He sticks to his job. Perch is there to help. Again, checks, goes back again. How many twists and turns are that in that far touchline? Again he goes. That's fantastic play. Close control at his best, then delivers.
Holt. Dobie, there's a push on Jones.
And the assistant's flag went straight up, very close to it. The adrenaline now is pumping through those Forest veins.
Steve Mildenhall, who played in Nottingham with Notts County and once scored with a free kick from his own half. The League Cup tie against Mansfield. Lindegaard. Stewart fouled.
The change in midfield has definitely worked in Forest's advantage early in the second half. Much more balanced, and he's going to get Cohen on the ball in the centre of midfield. Forest are closing down better.
Cohen's ball in. Ray looks to help it on to Lee Morris, who can't direct the header accurately. Pay all this money to watch, and then sometimes you can't bear to.
Must be an awful feeling. The elation 1 minute knowing you're one goal away from putting massive pressure on Forest, and all of a sudden it's taken away from you again.
Cohen. Nice kick from Gary Holt. Jones with the flick. Here's Davis again, looking to get inside this time, as he did for the goal. Still goes on. He's so hard to knock off the ball, Davis. He's won a free kick.
That's silly from Chris Commons again. He's given a couple of those away. Just back in the game, you're in control again. Again, it's this mazy run, the ability to twist, turn at pace, and commit people, and this is just a clumsy foul. Meant as well, premeditated.
There's a few who fancy this. Cohen, Barry, Davis, Stewart, all involved in the discussions. Nathan Jones, the captain, has joined in as well. Davis is the man who's flying and is central to the ball. He really does seem to want it, but the skipper leading the debate. And Davis has moved away. It's Barry who hit it. It comes back out to Andy Lindegaard. And in the end, they don't make the most of the opportunity. Forest could have broken had Commons got to that. Will it break for Guyot? No, it's away by Breckin. Barry. Stewart lets it run. Davis, the danger man again. Gray! Wonderful stop again. Morris! And somehow they've kept it out. Real pinball, but the goalkeeper save again, crucial. It's another free kick Commons has given away, and Graham Poll was straight in there to stop it getting out of hand. Chris Cohen went straight over to Commons and reacted badly. Graham Poll took a note of that, and he wants to see him as well. It's a yellow for Commons.
I'd like to see this again. He was straight involved there, Graham Poll, and I think that reaction from Graham Poll just convinced the Yeovil players that there's a bit of skullduggery afoot. Well, here is Davis again, cuts inside. He gets the ball first, takes the ball. I thought he'd take the ball. You get a touch on it, any touch, you get that. He's been booked for no reason. It looked bad because of the follow-through. He's unlucky there.
And to add insult to injury, he was cautioned for it, as was Chris Cohen for his reaction. Yeovil looking to crank up the pressure again. They wasted the last free kick. Another sight of goal here for Davis or Barry, whoever takes it on. Barry, and again, they give the opportunity to be closed down.
Yeah, they saw the previous free kick that Midfielder Forest wall was 10 yards when the ball was struck. Clearly wasn't.
Here's Forbes. Stewart. Headed away by Breckin. His goalkeeper might have called for that.
Jack Lester doing now. All you need to do is play it to Perch in front of him.
They had their 2-goal lead back on aggregate, Forest, but this is nerve-wracking. The referee's just seen a tangle off the ball. Aaron Davis and Leicester. It's in by Stewart. And they haven't dealt with it. Morris looks to feed it back across. Gray will go into challenge.
Well, what about this man? How big a part has he played in this tie? It takes a deflection. Look at that, low, gets down so quickly. And look at the look they get there, right, smashed against him. But this is the save again. Hits it well, comes through a body, instinctive save, yet again. Big man gets down so quickly. And they ride the look on the second occasion, and they thought they got back in it again. And Smith has been outstanding in both these ties.
Confirmation of those bookings in the aftermath of the foul by Commons, as it was judged by Graham Poll. Commons himself booked, and so too Chris Cohen. And a substitution here by Nottingham Forest. Youngster Lewis McGugan has been taken off. And it's a return to action for David Prutton, a man who's made a return to the City Ground on loan from Southampton. He was ill for the first leg, but he's getting the last half hour or so here.
I think that's a spot-on substitution from Colin Calderwood. An experience of McGugan off. Plenty of experience on there of David Prutton.
Here's Jones. Stewart. Cohen. Lindegaard. Holt. Here's Commons. Overrun by Jack Lester.
Well, give Yeovil credit. Thought they might be feeling down and out, but they've hit back well, and pressure straight back on Forest.
Here's Prutton. A little bit of space to operate in for David Prutton. Cut out by Guyot.
Well, he does strike it well. First time I've seen him with a beard there. Like Grizzly Adams, isn't he, there? If the old manager would have been in charge, he wouldn't have been allowed to grow that.
There's his corner. Prutton. Chambers followed out there by Cohen, who concedes another.
Just a little bit of footwork there from the centre half. Forrest will try and put him under pressure again. The previous corner didn't look too confident, came out with half a punch. Morgan Hall.
With a kick this time, and Perch came flying onto it.
Should have scored, shouldn't he, or should have hit the target at least. Again, it's the quality. Give your players a chance to attack. Does everything right, but doesn't get it under the bar. Lovely ball away from the defenders, away from the keeper. Just hit the target.
No score in the first leg, but Shrewsbury leading at MK Dons in the second leg of that League 2 playoff match. Cook on 58 minutes. And Sky Sports viewers can watch that match by using the red button on your remote. Here's David Prutton.
Trying to play it early for Jack Lester's run at the near post. Just overhit it.
Breckin's header away.
Yeah, some of these playoffs have been absolutely fantastic, compulsive viewing, turnarounds, and elation 1 minute, devastation the next.
Here's Lee Morris. Barrett. Gray! Pushed away.
It was a more comfortable save this time for Smith, but he's starting to make it.
Barrett. Here's Perch. Driving run by Perch. Leicester! It's Prutton going for the follow-up. And Forbes just watches it with relief to safety.
What a ball that is. That's an invitation for a tap-in.
All Forest at the moment. Here's Curtis. Now Breckin. Intervened is by Lindegaard. And Gray has gone down, having got that forward to Marcus Stewart. Here's Barry. Aim for Morris. Kicked it in. Chambers away. Lindegaard, a miss hit. Got it.
We've seen the threat of Davis, and Prutton has gone out there. He's the sort of player who can close that down. He gets box to box very well.
Gray. Evans. White. Given away by Leicester. This is Davis. Barry swung it in, cleared only to Lee Morris. And Breckin came in with a challenge.
The tiny perfection it was.
Dobie looking to break against Guyot. Leicester came towards the near post.
There's nothing wrong with the ball. Jack Leicester had to go near post because he saw Dobie at full stretch and nobody could make the far post from midfield. Intelligent play by Davis. I think he's seen that he's being double marked and he's switched to the right hand flank. He's got a free roll by the look of it. He's in a central position at the moment. It's good thinking. Make Forest think a little bit.
Here's Lindegaard. Commons. Leicester. Commons. They're coming back to try and help out Andy Lindegaard. Between the two of them, they did enough. Pushed by Commons, free kick.
Don't touch him in that area though, he's so good and he gets in and around the box. Well, the Forest do get through. It's looking increasingly like that at the moment. I think in both legs, three key players for me. The goalkeeper, of course, Smith has been fantastic. Breckin, captain's performance, and Jack Leicester up front.
There's Forbes. By Davis. Here's Morris. By Curtis.
I'll tell you what, Forest do go through and they go out celebrating as a team. They're not going to make the goalkeeper pay for any rounds out there. He won't have to put anything in the kitty, the way he's played in 2 games. Yeah, no rounds for him. Everybody else do that.
Barry looking for Guyot. Sure, if they were to get through, the celebrations wouldn't be too long-lasting anyway. Big job still to be done in terms of the final. Paul Smith himself has been a losing finalist before. Russell Slade is still hopeful that his team won't be losing semi-finalists here.
No matter what happens to Russell Team Slade, he's done a fantastic job this season. One of the favourites to go down, start the season, 100 to 1 to get in the playoffs. Terrific.
There's Lindegaard, now Guyot. Jones. Stewart.
I don't think Yeovil are going to be frightened of now. They've got to go for it, they've got to get back in. And if they do, gaps are going to appear. Commons will exploit those gaps. Perch, with his desire and his work rate, will exploit those gaps.
Here's Jones. Morris wanting to challenge the goalkeeper, but he was unfazed by that. Cheeky attempt. Smith can afford a smile.
He certainly can.
Gary Crosby, wasn't it, who tried that once against Andy Dibble and got away with it?
Yeah. Certainly George Best tried it, didn't he, against Gordon Banks, and didn't get away with it either. Absolutely.
It's Morris. Couldn't be absolutely sure then, the goalkeeper. Had to tip it away, aware that Stewart was just behind him.
No need to take any chances.
Cross by Jones. Guyot stooping for it. Brecken away.
Again by Brecken.
Here's Lindegaard. Barry. Jones. Cross by Davis. Forbes. Lindegaard.
Well, they're prepared to gamble now. Scott Guyot staying forward. There's a threat in the air.
There's Prutton. Commons.
It's a good opportunity there. The gaps are starting to appear.
Jones. Gray just holding off Chambers. Here's Barry. Morris, Lindegaard up on the outside. Cohen. Stopped by Perch. They'll have an injury problem. Chris Cohen, who is a bit of a doubt anyway tonight. He's got a nagging hernia problem, which is a legacy from last season.
Yeah, looks like he's been hurt in that area again. It was this little incident here. Perch, terrific block. I think it was just a stretch for the shot, and then he goes down. Just caused a problem in the groin area.
It still takes time to applaud the Yeovil fans who've made the trip before coming off. The man who's coming on to replace him is the man who's helped Russell Slade to a giant killing before. Because Chris Cohen's replacement is Jean-Paul Kalala, who in his Grimsby days under Slade scored the goal that put Tottenham out of last season's League Cup.
He's got about 15 minutes plus injury time to make an impact.
Well, around about 15 minutes left, and Yeovil, as they did at the start of the evening, have to find 2 goals from somewhere. Curtis. Here's Guyot. Perch. Now Curtis. Prutton. Dobie. Missed it too quickly.
I thought Prutton was going for the return, but didn't. I think the Yeovil must wonder over the 2 games how they're still behind in this, with the number of chances they've actually had compared with Forest.
Well, the reason they're 2 goals behind again is this man, Scott Dobie, whose goal right at the start of the second half took the wind out of Yeovil sails is coming off, and it's a return to action for Grant Holt, who, as well as being Forest's Player of the Year, is also their top scorer, and amongst his 17 goals, the 2 that earned league victories against Yeovil this season. Here's Kalala. Holt going in for his first challenge, a risky one against the new Yeovil man.
Just what Forest want. Yeovil give them cheap possession.
He's got the touch back, here's Guyot. Nathan Jones, just a run it past Prutten, who stood his ground, but is going to book him for that.
Well, rather harsh from Mr. Pott.
If it is Forest at Wembley, who will they meet in the final? Blackpool against Oldham, the second leg of that, with Blackpool protecting a first leg lead. Sky Sports 1 and HD1 tomorrow from noon. Followed at 2 by Chelsea against Manchester United, the first FA Cup final back at the new Wembley.
Well, that weekend of the finals will be a mass exodus from the East Midlands if Forest do hang on to this. Derby and Nottingham will be empty.
It's Holt. Prutten. Stewart into the path of Gray. Stewart again.
Well, it's a half chance again. Brecken console him. Marcus Stewart. He looked to be in here. There was a slip just there, but doesn't recover well. Again, the skipper comes to the rescue, but Stewart was disappointed he didn't hit the target.
Holt. By Davis. Here's Jones. Stewart with the touch. Now Lee Morris to give Yeovil late hope. Well, the goalkeeper at the moment just looks unbeatable.
They hit the sight of him, don't they? He's just been magnificent.
Davis, the man who has beaten him, into the path of Anthony Barry. Jones. Forbes. Terrell Forbes looking to have a go.
That's exactly what they wanted him to do there. Centre half, shoot from 30 yards. Well, again, it's a lovely little bit of interplay between Morris and Stewart. Does everything right, drills it hard and low. But again, he keeps his position so well and breaks the hearts of the Yeovil supporters yet again. That's the impressive thing with the Smith. He keeps his position well, gets his angles so perfect.
Grant Holt. Oh, Guyot slipped. Leicester could be in. Prutten's over to his right. And it's Grant Holt. And cleared by Lindegaard. Prutten. And Guyot relieved to get that one away. They were living on their nerves then, Yeovil. Another goal really would have finished off their challenge.
Yeah, without a doubt again. The ball put it in the 6-yard box, nobody gambled, and Lindegaard was there to clear up the mess.
to play off to determine who plays Bristol Rovers in the final. There was an equaliser for MK Dons. Keith Andrews on 73 minutes, but Shrewsbury have now retaken the lead. A reminder that that match is available to Sky Digital viewers. Just press the red button on your remote for that option. Here's Lindegaard. On by Kalala. This is Gray. Lee Morris. Challenge. Davis. Kalala to have a go, and it's off the post, and it's gone back in off right. They're back in it again with under 10 minutes left.
Well, for once he is beaten. They're trying to get the ball off Smith. Again, Davis involved in a big way in this goal. Checks inside, lays it back, and what a strike this is. Thuds off the post, and right, unlucky, it's bounced in off him. Smith can do nothing this time. Davis again teasing, tormenting. What a decent strike this is. Beats Smith all ends up, and they get the look, bounces in off the unfortunate right. And what a nervy last 8 so minutes.
So unfortunate moment, isn't it, for Alan Wright? But Nottingham Forest were 9 minutes away from Wembley, and now it's back in the melting pot again.
Well, they're playing very, very positively for up front. Gray has been down the centre, he's gone back on the flank now, but how nervous is he going to be for Forest now? Seemingly coasting to Wembley, but they've got to dig in now. They've got to stop Yeovil playing.
Breckin. Confirmation that Lee Morris was actually booked in the aftermath of the goal because he was desperately trying to wrestle the ball back from the goalkeeper. Here's Stewart. Now Lee Morris. It's Davis who's come onto it and finds himself blocked off by Curtis.
Well, he thinks maybe obstruction at the least.
Oh, he's talked himself into trouble. Yellow card.
Well, again, he's direct running. Bursts onto that one. Definitely blocked off. It's obstruction, definitely.
He's the one who gets the caution.
There's every reason to be a little bit disappointed there.
To be applauded, and so do his team, for the effort they've put in over the course of the whole season, and they're still refusing to give up the possibility of their first ever trip to Wembley. A club that was only just getting to the conference 10 years ago, just as Nottingham Forest were falling out of the Premiership. They've made a real good contest of this over the 2 matches, and it's by no means over yet.
Well, what do we say about some of these playoffs? Absolutely fantastic.
Here's Leicester. Well, he was trying to put it to bed once and for all, but straight at the goalkeeper.
Good position by Milton Hall. Leicester just got to keep possession, deny Yeovil that ball, and look at the space Morris has got. The backing up too much.
There's 2 up ahead of him. Lee Morris trying to get around the outside of Curtis and drive it across. Cut out by Chambers and cleared by Pratt. Now Grant Holt, who hasn't had too much of a chance to get into the game since he came on.
That's exactly what his manager will want him to do, get fouled. Towards the last 5 minutes, take your time. As a striker, you try and get the ball in a corner flag and get knocked over, get a free kick, take the steam out of the opposition.
Here comes the Major Oak to try and shore things up for the remaining 5 minutes. Where's Morgan's going to be sent on? Jack Lester is the man coming off.
I think he's been terrific tonight, Jack Lester. Last time he came on Yeovil, he started telling everybody what to do, and the next minute the ball's in the box and Marcus Sturz hit the post. Everybody was trying to listen to what Met West was saying and switched off.
There's a It's their free kick. He had all the time in the world this time to convey whatever messages he needed to. Russell Slade's focus of attention after that substitution was to get a message over to Andy Lindegaard.
Well, Forest will leave Holt up front and just pack midfield. It's a dangerous game to play, though, as you encourage the opposition onto you.
Nottingham Forest, less than 4 minutes of normal time away from Wembley. They could settle it if Commons can get in here, but Lindegaard resisted him well.
A bit of pace got him back, and Paul spot on with that one, saw the pull back.
So Stewart's head. Alan Wright, the unfortunate player, debited with that own goal that has restored hope for Yeovil. They've come so far in this season, they're not prepared to give it up easily. Wright is there with the header away. Gray barries onto it, still looking sharp. Cross blocked by Alan Wright. And here's Lindegaard. In goes Stewart! They've only gone and done it! It is level on aggregate! 3 minutes to go, and Yeovil have pulled it out of the fire!
Well, Forest only got themselves to blame. They gave it away. Alan Wright could have played the ball down the line, let it run out of play, gave possession back to Yeovil. Quality ball. Don't close him down, let him put it in there. Smith decides not to come right in between the defenders. And Marcus Stewart is so good in these situations. Just concentrates, downward header. And Forest to be majorly disappointed with the defending here. You've got to defend better than that. But give them full credit. Battled back into this game. And look at Russell Slade. Gee, I mean, what a reaction. Passion for you.
Well, it's the sort of passion that's energised Yeovil this season and which has brought them back from seemingly the dead. It looked a virtually impossible task when Forest got off to such a cracking start in the second half, and they don't want to throw it away now. Well, Grant Holt lets the goalkeeper know he's around.
I said about dropping back and packing midfield and encouraging the opposition on. They bring Wes Morgan on to bolster it up, and they concede from a cross into the box. It's poor defending. And you've got to go with what's got you in front in the first place. Being positive. Suddenly the opposition have been lifted by the fact that Forest want to hang on with one up front.
Well, if it was down to away goals, Yeovil would be as good as through, but it's not. We're heading for extra time, possibly penalties as well, unless either side can win it. Can Forest recover from their despair?
There's only one team on the up at the moment. One team in despair, one set of fans in despair. We've seen them throw it away. They have, at the moment. So close. We saw it against Sheffield United those few years ago. They don't want to see it again.
Morgan. That's Prutton. There's Guyot. Headed back by Breckin.
See what happens when you bring subs on late. They can't get the pace of the game. You know, the half a yard or a yard short, you're mentally not tuned in.
Here's Grant Holt. Lindegaard holding him up. Alan Wright had got forward with him, but the flag was up anyway. Well, how much stoppage time? 3 minutes is the answer. We're 3 minutes away from extra time as things stand.
Well, managers live and die. I've said it before on the substitutions at time. Russell Slade's only made the one enforced one. Forest have gone defensive to try and hang on. Could come back to haunt them. Defenders going back. Wes Morgan's come on. Said you're not in tune with what's going on. You know, you're not mentally switched on. An opposition to pick up on that, say, right, let's test him out, put it in the box.
Here's Kalala. Now Jones. Jones was the player fouled, and now time is Yeovil's to waste. Well, the despair written all over his face and his hair.
Yeah. But you've got to give Yeovil all the credit in the world. Over the 2 legs, have created so many opportunities. Been the dominant force, especially in the first game. You have to say in this game, we've had a lot of great moments that Paul Smith has kept out.
Here's Morgan. Nathan Jones. On by Morris. Curtis. Now Breckin. It's won back by Marcus Stewart. Is there to be a rousing finale from Yeovil? Cut out by Curtis just as Morris was taking up a position.
Well, there's been a big problem created in Forest as well. Dobie's gone off, Leicester's gone off, Brunton could be sent off.
The referee's gone towards him to brandish a second yellow card, and as if Forest's problems weren't bad enough, they're a man down. David Prutton sent off.
Well, rash, he knows he's been on a yellow card. You can't lunge in like this. You really can't. And here we see him. He's an all-action player. He is committed. That's late. That deserves a yellow card. He deserves a sending off. Well, the silence from the Forest supporters speaks volumes. I just think it's the substitutions that caused the problem.
Well, where's your money now in this extraordinary roller coaster of a playoff? Forest 3 minutes away from Wembley when Marcus Stewart got the goal that has earned Yeovil at the very least extra time. Brought despair to Colin Calderwood and Nottingham Forest, who will face extra time a man down after David Prutton sending off. And that in itself will greatly encourage Russell Slade. It really has been a brave heart display from the men from Somerset that could carry them all the way to the final despite Paul Smith's heroics. Extra time beckons at the City Ground.
Back to our commentators for extra time, Gary Birtles and Rob Hawthorne.
Well, having used defensive substitutes to try and shore it up, only to see Yeovil get their third goal through Marcus Stewart. Defend, really, you would assume would have to be the order of the day for Nottingham Forest now, bearing in mind they're a man light with David Prutton off. And one striker on at the moment in Grant Holt, who has only just come back from an injury that ruled him out of the first leg. It really is going to be an arduous task now for Forest, hanging on, having in normal time been just 3 minutes away from a Wembley trip when Stewart struck.
Yeah, and the defending was poor, to say the least. The ball, Wes Morgan on, you call him the major oak, and the ball's played into the box, and smallest striker gets a header.
Forbes wins that header from the throw. There's Gary Holt, and it's booted clear by Andy Lindegaard.
And the problem for Forest, you just mentioned Grant Holt, not fully fit, the only striker on the pitch now. And for Forest, and Jack Leicester's gone off, and Dobie were doing a good job. And I think if Forest stay as they were, they stay and win this game, because Yeovil has still got to be positive and go forward and leave gaps. What Forest did by substituting the strikers was encourage Yeovil on.
Morgan, that's fallen short. Morris is in here. Lee Morris for Yeovil. It's the final insult for Nottingham Forest as a former Derby man scores the goal that could rule them out of the playoff final and take Yeovil there.
What is that man in your picture doing? What was he thinking? No danger, didn't have to do what he did. give Morris credit. He persevered. Look at this, sloppy to say the least. That is absolutely awful. Morris, you thought the chance had gone, but he gets round Smith, and that, you have to say, is Forrest out of it. Keeps his calm, does well, drills it hard and low. And look at him again, a Forest fan, but his team over the two legs have created the more chances. The Forest keeper has kept his team in it, and it's just all gone wrong, totally. And look at that man's face, and he knows he could have just dented all the hopes.
Well, it is absolute agony now for Nottingham Forest. They were so close to claiming the prize, but the whole thing has just come unstitched.
Sorry for the goalkeeper, Smith. He's been absolutely unbelievable over the two legs, and he's had no help at times. You have to go back to the substitutions. You've lost your strikers, then Prutton gets himself ridiculously sent off, makes the task even bigger, and then they give a sloppy goal away in the first couple of minutes of extra time. But give Yeovil the full credit. They've been an absolute revelation for me in both ties.
Job not done yet. Gary Holt! They've levelled it on aggregate. Suddenly the outcome is in doubt again.
Well, can you believe this? You couldn't write this. You couldn't predict this. But look at it happening again. 10 men get back in the game when they look down and out. And Yeovil will be livid with the way they conceded this. They thought they were there. They switched off. It's a good downward header, and he gambles. Gary Holt gambles. This is intelligent. Lovely header down. Keeps his calm. Doesn't try and blast it. Side foots it in there, and they're back in it. Absolute quality tie, this is. And how do Yeovil feel now? They know they've got a man extra. They know they were in the ascendancy, but all of a sudden, it's up in the air again.
And even the most ardent Forest fan must have thought their hopes had died before them when Lee Morris got that goal for Yeovil. The fourth on the night, Yeovil's fourth in the tie. Gary Holt, with only his second goal of the season, has brought despair to the travelling fans and reinvigorated Forest.
Applause for the response of the Forest players. They could have felt so sorry for themselves with that howling error from Wes Morgan to give the advantage to Yeovil, but no, they've come back, and now it's up to Yeovil to go forward again with the 11 men. Have they got the bottle to go and win it? We shall see.
Well, the playoff result in the League Two match that's taken place tonight. Shrewsbury have won it. They've beaten MK Dons by 2-1 in the away leg. They'll play Bristol Rovers in the final. More playoff heartbreak from Martin Allen. Perch with a header.
Well, they look like they've got 11 at the moment, Forest. It's about concentration now for both teams. Mentally tired, physically tired. Just got to conserve energy.
Well, where is your money in this one? The playoffs never lose that capacity to surprise. Here's Marcus Stewart. Behind Gray, cleared by Perch. Barry, deflected across, Stewart's there again, it's a fine save again from Smith.
Well, they switched off Forest, it came through to Marcus Stewart, it's a good strike. But again, look at the keeper with his angle spot on again at that near post. Who'd be a fan? Who would be a fan?
Can't believe that poor old Smith has conceded 4 goals as well with the performance that he's put in.
Unreal.
Could have been much, much more when you think about it.
Couldn't have done anything about the goals.
Stewart!
Well, we'll never stop talking about this goalkeeper.
And Commons could break. He's got to do it on his own. Grant Holt, though, is bursting forward to try and get there. It's a yellow card for Lindegaard.
Well, Commons breaks forward on his own. Didn't look to be any contact there. Graham Poll saw the intent. What about this for a save again? Drilled in, intelligent corner, hit with power, and again, instinctive. It's a good height, but again, his positioning is so good.
Well, it's real blood and thunder stuff, but it's anybody's game. Forest down to 10 men, but showing great character here. Well, Morgan was in there, but couldn't direct his header goalwards.
Wasn't a bad downward header. Somebody gambles. Yeah, he's been terrific, Perch, as well. I mentioned key players, but his work rate and industry has been spot on. What do you have to do against 10 men is keep possession, move the ball, stretch them, get it wide, keep possession, make the opposition work. At the moment, Yeovil aren't doing that. They're trying to go a little bit direct, not work the way round Forest.
They've got away with some suicidal defending for now, Nottingham Forest, but they can't afford to switch off again. There's Kalala. This is Davis. Will get the better of Commons. Commons is upended by Nathan Jones.
It's two players who've just been booked for fouls on Chris Commons. He's a good outlet at the moment. He's picking it up. He's running with it.
Well, an unlikely scorer in Gary Holt. Grant Holt has got a couple against Yeovil this season, but that's only Gary Holt's second goal of this campaign.
Well, how important could this be? It's a terrific header by Holt to Holt, and what a finish that is. That's a quality finish. Any striker would be proud of that. So easy to go and try and blast it from that sort of area, but he didn't. He was composed, kept it down, just beat Mildenhall quite comfortably. It was his intelligent header down that caused it.
Unrelated, but they share a name, Grant Holt and Gary Holt. Holt, the former Army chef who lost a playoff final in his days with Norwich, only to be promoted automatically with them a couple of years later. Somebody's brought his own rocking chair.
Is that a cardboard cutout there? I've seen nodding dogs before, but never nodding humans in that respect. Yeah.
Well, no danger of anyone falling asleep at this one. It's been an incredible night's entertainment.
Well, I don't know what that is. That nervous tension? No, how he feels. Yeovil have been taken aback a little bit. They fully expected to go on and win this quite comfortably with David Prutton sending off. Forest, you've got to give them credit now. I said give Yeovil credit, but the response from Forest has been absolutely superb.
Davis has run it out.
Good closing down by Grant Holt.
Here's Commons.
What's he trying to do there? Dear me. You expect him to drill it across? It's a good opportunity to create pressure again and lets them off the hook.
Well, at no stage, not even after extra time, do away goals count double. Yeovil coming here tonight and scoring 4 goals. Surely they would have expected to be at Wembley by now, but then again, Forest were expecting to be at Wembley until 3 minutes from the end of normal time. Jones got caught in the face.
Here's Guyot.
I just feel this tie has still got a twist in its tail.
Morris. Weaving a way through, but blocked by Breckin. And away by Chambers.
He's so dangerous in those areas, Morris, when he turns at you. Twists, turns, has to make an angle for the shot.
Here's Forbes. Aim towards Gray. Morgan trying to handle him. Here's Forbes.
I'll tell you what, it's a nightmare for anybody involved, for fans of watching this, or the coaches, all the backroom staff, any neutral watching it. What a feast of football they've had in these playoffs. Absolutely unbelievable.
Barry. Now Jones. Away by Breckin. There's Commons. Here's Kalala. The worry for Yeovil is that Davis has gone down heavily and has stayed down.
I think he caught a knee from Grant Holt right in the back. See Holt go in, use the more confidence. It's not a knee, it's a foot. That's a poor one. That's hurt. Believe me, they hurt. He's played his part, hasn't he? Come on and created the goal that's given Forest that chance, even with 10 men.
It has been inspirational.
Can't get your breath, can you? Cannot get your breath.
That's the nature of the playoffs. 8 goals last night, another 6 tonight. 8 over the course of the 2 matches in this tie.
What a good idea it was to not give the away goals. Take that away, because it makes it more attack-minded. Nobody comes to defend. They will believe they've got a chance.
Barry. Now Kalala. Gray. Deflected on its way through, but Smith saves the corner.
Oh, he was strong there, Gray. He's allowed to turn, which you don't like to see on the edge of the box.
First then we're operating with a front two of Alan Wright and Chris Commons.
He's not going to win that many in the air, is he, Alan Wright? It looks as if he's struggling a little bit. That's why they've shoved him up there.
There's Commons. 2 added minutes in the first half.
Forest would have wanted to see that. Rest those tired limbs.
Well, it's a worry for Nottingham Forest because Colin Calderwood has used all of his substitutes. He's lost one of them, David Prutton, who was thrown on by Calderwood and then sent off. So no scope for resting anybody now.
Not at all. Purge has had to go left back. Chambers is at right back. Curtis gone just to protect in front of the back 4.
To be playing with 9.5 men now, and we're not referring to Alan Wright's size. Here's Grant Holt.
Yeah, that's what he's got to do. Well, the idea was to keep it in that corner, but it didn't happen.
Trying to win his way past Lindegaard as Wayne Gray comes back to help out. Free kick decision goes against him. How desperate he is to get another trip to a playoff final. He was the loser in last year's League 2 final with Grimsby, but such character in this Yeovil team that suggests they could take that extra step this year and win it.
Yeah, without doubt. He would have taken penalties at the start of this game, I'm sure. This team has still got a big chance. Fatigue will set in with Forest. They've got an injured player in right as well.
Here's Jones, and it's cleared by Chambers. Commons couldn't prevent the corner.
Even better than that, Chris Commons. Don't give a corner away, let him have a throw in, but not a corner.
It's Barry's ball in, great challenging for it, great takedown. And there is the turnaround, and Nottingham Forest relieved to reach that turnaround. Still level on aggregate. Gary Holt's goal has put them in that position, but the problems are mounting for Colin Calderwood, whose team were already a man light with David Prutton sending off, and now Alan Wright is limping his way through to the end. It looked as though Lee Morris might have won the tie anyway for Yeovil with his early goal from Wes Morgan's mistake, but Forest are still in there fighting.
They are still fighting, but the concern is now with Alan Wright. Gary Fleming, the physio's down there looking at the problem. Just about mental fatigue's the problem more than physical. I think you can't switch off for an instant. Russell Slade's team talk will be just take your time, be patient, work the ball, don't go direct, make them even more tired than they are.
Well, in the limited time they have available, Colin Calderwood's medical men working on Alan Wright, but this is a problem, and that should give Yeovil hope. Russell Slade, Nottingham Forest fan, on the brink of beating the club that he supported as a boy. The club that he supported at Wembley when they were in the League Cup final back in the late 70s, 1978. He was there for the replay as well against Liverpool at Old Trafford.
Yeah, we're sat in the stand at Old Trafford that night watching that replay. Well, what can he do, Alan Wright? What can he... look, he's saying don't switch off, keep focused.
Well, for one of these two teams, the season could come to a dramatic halt in the next 15 minutes. Or if it stays this way, we'll go all the way to the drama of a penalty shootout. And if we get there, for Forest, it'll be a roll call of those fit enough to take one.
I'm sure two of the penalty takers might have been Jack Lester and Scott Dobie, but no longer on the pitch. David Prutton might have been another with his experience, sent off. Might not get that far, but if it does, bravery comes into it. You want players to stand up and say, yeah, I'm going to take one.
Breckin and Morgan are really going to have their work cut out. Perch at the moment covering for Alan Wright, the stricken Alan Wright at left back. A reshuffle necessary because of the problems that have been mounting for Forest. Here's Lee Morris. Alan Wright is still limping through.
And then the problem appears to be a calf injury, and he's put padding in his boot to raise it a little bit to stop the pressure on the calf injury. Muscle injuries normally really bad, but when you've got to stay out there and it's in extra time, makes it 10 times and more worse.
Really is make do and mend for Forest, and with so much at stake as well. Wright struggling to get forward despite Commons being in possession. That's Morgan. Flag up against Grant Holt.
Attempted to do that, where's Morgan? Put it in the opposition's half. Keep possession a little bit, get fouled and take the pressure off your team. That's what you try and do. Keep giving it back to the opposition. Yeovil have got to try and find a way through though. They have got the man extra. They can commit players forward. There's no way Forest are going to break and go past the centre halves. One of them should take responsibility. I think more so Forbes and Gaia maybe bring the ball across the halfway line and push the midfield further forward.
Here's Davis. Now Kalala. Stewart. Aaron Davis. Lindegaard has got forward on the right, but he's gone for it himself, and Lindegaard seems to be the option. He is venturing forward ever more bravely since Forest have been reduced in number.
I think Forest would have been delighted with that strike from Davis from distance.
Gary Holt, the furthest player forward here for Nottingham Forest, up against Forbes, who has to keep his footing and does.
Gary Holt's the man they want back. They need him in that midfield. They don't need him that far forward.
Morgan. Guyot. Free kick to Forest.
Seemed a soft one, that did. But that's exactly what Forest wants. They want to take the heat off. The thing is, Yeovil, I don't think they want penalties. They've got 11 men out there. They can win this game if they've got the belief.
With a kick, Weldon Hall to try and assume command in that situation. Here's Lindegaard making Forest backpedal. Davis looking to help it into the path of Morris. He's found him via the deflection. It's Aaron Davis. He could win it. He probably has won it for Yeovil. That could be the last blow that Forest, punch-drunk Forest, can possibly take. And the men from Somerset are celebrating. Wembley beckons.
What a cool finish this is. They get the little bit of luck here. Bounces off Commons. But a lovely ball by Morris. Good first touch. Gets it away from his feet. Good firm ball. Terrific first touch. Sidesteps. And that's a cracking finish. And a look at Russell Slade. Not quite the elation of the previous goal, because still feels there's something left in this game. But how can Forest bounce back from this? Look, they're over the moon. They feel they're going to be walking down Wembley Way, and he's been majorly influential.
Well, it's the man who started the revival who could well have completed it. And the groans at that goal from Forest, added to now by the further problems that they're facing. John Curtis, who was a doubt before the game anyway, you can see the strapping because of the thigh injury he suffered in the first match, and maybe a touch of that combined with cramp now.
Yeah, I said mental and physical fatigue. Certainly mental fatigue for the Forest supporters. But that goal, I think, I mentioned Gary Holt didn't need to burst through all that way up the pitch. He couldn't get them back into it. He was struggling. He'd given his lot to get forward, but they don't need him there. They wanted to go for penalties, get him back, just protecting the back four, and that's where it came from, that goal.
Well, there's going to be a fair bit of stoppage time added on in extra time. It took a while to restart. But Yeovil now well and truly are on their way. Or so it seems. Scott Guyot may just have given Forest a chance, a glimmer of hope to get back into it again.
You don't want to give them any glimmer of hope. Just put it in the stands. Don't try and be clever. Put it out for a throw-in. All about quality now for Forest. Got to keep it away from Mildenhall.
Chambers going in for it, and Gray was back there helping out. Morris screens it from Curtis. They're away again here. Davis is on the break. He's got Barry up ahead of him. He's got Kalala breaking too. He could take it all the way. Wonderfully timed challenge, though. It was Commons who got back.
We'll give Gary Holt all the credit there. Commons did get back, but Gary Holt stopped that happening. He held his line well. He didn't dive in. I think Davies should have played it. He had two options to his right. But I thought that was terrific defending from Gary Holt to stop almost a certain final nail in the coffin for Forest.
Well, he saw the glory of a hat-trick then. Aaron Davis was determined to take it. And Commons deprived him of that chance. Well, one more goal for Yeovil, and it definitely will be curtains for Forest. Here's Jean-Paul Kalala.
Well, I wonder how they've lost this, Forest. 2-0 up from the first leg, seemingly coasting towards the end. Own goal by Wright, and then a poor defensive goal to give away. By then the substitutions have been made, two strikers had gone off, and Prutton just irresponsibly getting sent off and just put them on the back foot.
Here's Grant Holt.
Needs help. Nobody's going to help him.
Forbes held him up, but he still managed to get it across, only for Guy to frustrate him and clear. Barry.
I'll tell you what I'd do now. I'd send Wes Morgan forward. Get him up there, he's fresh. Let him win a few headers. Play three at the back. Why not? Because this is all Yeovil will do now. They'll try and keep possession.
Davis. Jones. Will try and break free of Chambers. Here's Lindegaard. Gray.
Can't allow them possession like this. Forest have got to close down. We know they're shattered mentally and physically. Down to 10 men, or 9 really, with Alan Wright, but they've just got to raise it one last time to try and get that ball back. Because if they don't, they're out. For me, they've got to put somebody up with Grant Holt. They've got to put somebody up there. It's vital. Where's Morgan? Get up there. Breckin, get up there. Somebody who can win the ball in the air and help that man out, Grant Holt. There's no point in just keeping one up when you're more or less out of the tie.
Well, he's trying to get that message across. Breckin is going forward.
He's got to.
Commons here.
If anybody can get them back in, he can.
Well, Commons due to be a guest at the FA Cup final tomorrow, having been a player of the round for his hat-trick against Yeading, but he'll be too tired to go, I'm sure, with the effort he's had to put in tonight.
He won't feel like going, will he? Key moments in key games, and you just go back to just before the end. Forest in the ascendancy, playing well, the dominant side, looking to go through, and all of a sudden substitutions are made to protect. And it's always a dangerous game to play.
Davis. Aaron Davis may well turn out to be the match winner for Yeovil. It really has been a day of desolation for Nottingham Forest. A season that started with such great promise. They reeled off 4 straight wins at the start of it. They didn't lose in their first 7 matches. They were top of the table in both the league games they played against Yeovil. And yet now, at the vital time, it is all coming apart.
Well, they were 7 points clear at one point, so in that respect, they've got themselves to blame for not finishing in the normal season. Had a bad run, they slipped down the table, but it's all gone wrong. Also good for them, but again, Yeovil over the 2 ties have been very good.
Here's Commons, did well to win that one back from Davis. Chris Commons, can he produce a special moment here for Nottingham Forest? Stewart comes in with a tackle, Jones breaks with it. Davis is through the middle, Morris is out wide. And here's Lee Morris. Davis. Jones. Sensibly playing within themselves at the moment, nothing too gung-ho. Flag stays down here for Lee Morris, which adds to Forest's frustration. He's run it out.
Oh, Breckin's gone back again. I know he's going forward. He's got to stay forward. He's no good in defence now. Commons absolutely out on his feet at the moment. Absolutely shattered, done for.
Guyot.
Problem for Forest as well if they don't make it, and it doesn't look like they're going to at the moment.
Header down. Grant Holt. He's won the corner.
Well, just when you say they're not going to make it, comes a chance, and his first touch was far too heavy. Well, he was going to take it early, but at least he's given them half a chance to get quality in. I was just about to say, if they don't go through, stay in this division, then players will disappear.
Corner whipped in, Breckin goes for it but gets underneath it.
He doesn't deserve to be on the losing side of the 2 games, led by example.
Well, a club of such proud tradition that under that man dominated not only English football but European football too. Who would have thought that now, so soon after that glorious reign They would be in the third tier of English football and struggling to get out of it.
In the A52, the Brian Clough way now between Nottingham and Derby. One team certainly at Wembley, the other team unfortunately now don't look like they're going to be.
They were 3 minutes away from getting to Wembley when Marcus Stewart levelled the tie-up in normal time. But now Yeovil, around about a minute and a half plus stoppage time away from taking their place in the League One final.
I just think Yeovil have had more options going forward in both legs in midfield. With Davis's pace, with Cohen, with Barry.
Gary Holt. Guyot. Aaron Davis.
Well, that's the key to it. Take your players 10-pin bowling before a playoff semi-final.
That was a great Brian Clough tactic, wasn't it, to find a relaxing mood before a high-pressure match.
Yeah, we did it in a different way. We didn't go 10-pin bowling, went to the nearest corner bar.
The referee's just blown to intervene in a potential problem here, and Grant Holt has shown a yellow card for that confrontation with Guyot.
Looks like he's asking him for a little bit of a go after the whistle's gone.
Well, that's ill-advised, with Graham Poll still hearing every word that's uttered. Two minutes added on. That is how close now Yeovil are from making their trip to the new Wembley and their place in the League One playoff final.
Interesting to see how the fans react at the end. The Forest fans desperate to get back in the big time. And again, they've got to wait by the look of it for another season.
A dream about to fade for Forest.
Oh, I'm just hearing the shouts of Psycho in the background there. Will Stuart Pearce out of a job? It's unfair to be saying that.
Here's Morgan. Chambers. Back by Morgan. It's going to be a desperate day in the history of Nottingham Forest Football Club. It's rough on Smith, isn't it?
Rough, to say the least. If I were him, I would be absolutely furious. Look, he's shaking his head. So what more can I do in these two legs to get us through to Wembley? And in that respect, you have to say they deserve it, Yeovil.
Stop the bars with cider. Yeovil Town are on their way to Wembley for the first time in their history. A day of desperation for Nottingham Forest, brought on them by a Forest fan. Russell Slade measured in his celebrations of this victory, but Aaron Davis is the hero of the hour. He started the comeback, he completed it. But Forest faces tell the story of a trip to Wembley that slipped away from them. They were 3 minutes away from claiming their place in the final when disaster piled up on top of disaster. Marcus Stewart levelled matters to bring extra time. Despite Lee Morris scoring, Forest levelled it again with Gary Holt. But with David Pratton sent off, Alan Wright struggling through to the end through injury, Aaron Davis pounced again, and it's the men from Somerset who are celebrating. And over the course of the two matches, you have to say they merit their place in the final.
Without a doubt, they've been the better side. They've created more chances than Forest. 1.5 games into this, they'd only created, well, they created not from open play, 2 penalties and 1 free kick. So you have to say Yeovil thoroughly deserve it.
Well, how do Forest rebuild from this? Their despair in marked contrast to the joy that Yeovil Town are feeling. Where's Morgan with that loose back pass? A contributor in a way to Forest's downfall, and some of the despair from Forest fans spilling over into dissent towards the players. Fair amount of abuse was taken then by Morgan as he left the field. But the joy here is with Yeovil Town. The job not complete yet. There is still a final at Wembley to contest, but Marcus Stewart, who scored in the last playoff final at Wembley for Ipswich Town, is going to be back at the new Wembley on the first weekend of the playoffs back there, and his goal played a vital part in getting Yeovil Town to that final.
Well, big players, big occasions. Didn't he step up to the mark? Bad defending from Forest to let him get in between and get a free header. But look at those fans, and look at his smile there. What a magnificent job he's done, Russell Slade. Look at the tears, understandably so. Favourites for automatic promotion, and rightly so. The squad they had, they've lost key players. Tyson's out, Agogo's out, but they had a big chance in this game to get there. But I think negative substitutions towards the end of the match cost them.
Well, for all of Yeovil's joy, Russell Slade, who takes the acclaim there rightly, has been fairly measured here with his celebrations, partly because he knows that there is still a job to be done in the final, and partly, I'm sure, because there is still a lingering affection for this club that he supported as a boy, and he doesn't want to rub it in at the City ground too much. But he must feel immense pride in what his players have achieved. 2-0 down from the home leg. They came here, they kept bouncing back from the setbacks, with 2 goals from Aaron Davis, an own goal from Alan Wright, and goals 2 provided by Marcus Stewart and Lee Morris. They finally conquered Forest on an extraordinary roller coaster of an evening.
You have to give them credit, because Paul Smith performed heroically in 2 games, and they must have thought, what have we got to do to beat that man? But they kept at it, they kept going, they kept believing, and they got the rewards. They just had more options going forward from midfield, pace and creation, and they stopped Chris Commons playing as well. And look at that poor young lad.
Well, for him it is agony. For them it is ecstasy, and it is destiny Wembley. Andy Lindegaard, who's been with Yeovil through their climb from the Conference and from League Two, and they can see the Championship in their sights now, and the Forest fans here showing a great measure of sportsmanship by a round of applause to, let's not forget, a former Notts County manager, Russell Slade.
That's brilliant from the Forest fans. They appreciate what they've seen from their opponents. And Russell Slade's got his team passing the ball. They play a nice positive way. They've got pace in the right areas, and you've got to give him credit for what a turnaround he's made to this football club. Look at that, fans applauding the opposition.
Well, a really enjoyable trip to the East Midlands from Yeovil, and Slade, I'm sure, will be making the cry to come on, feel the noise at Wembley when Yeovil are in town for the League One playoff final. Tomorrow will determine who they play there, but for now they can toast their success, and what a success. 5-2 on the night, 5-4 on aggregate.
How do the playoffs keep on doing this? Unbelievable stuff. Marcus Stewart, 34 years old, as excited as a youngster, as a teenager. The elation on the fans is amazing. Yeovil have scored 5 goals away from home to win this playoff semi-final. Nottingham Forest can look forward to playing Leeds United in League One next season. But Yeovil go on to Wembley. Well, you really can't believe it, can you? And he certainly can't. What has happened? What has gone wrong? 2 goals up away from home, and Forest have blown it at the City ground. What a game we've seen here, though. Unbelievable stuff. Yeovil going ahead through Aaron Davis early on. Scott Dobie, Forest back into it again. Alan Wright own goal. Marcus Stewart. David Prutton was sent off. Lee Morris for Yeovil. Gary Holt for Forest again. Aaron Davis. Unbelievable. Tears for Forest. Victory for Yeovil. And they still can't accept the fact they're in League One again next season. And amazingly, one of the fixtures will be Leeds United against Nottingham Forest in League One. Who would have believed that? Not him. He can't believe anything at the moment. Let's go to our interviews with two of the protagonists for Yeovil. Had a great night, both of them, Aaron Davis and Marcus Stewart, and they're both with Johnny Phillips.
Marcus, in your 16 years as a professional, have you ever been involved in anything like that?
Close to it with Ipswich when we beat Bolton in the playoffs, similar kind of thing, but we were home second leg, but it doesn't get much better than that, to be honest with you. Especially the older you get, the more you want to achieve things, and my years are running out slowly, so it's nice to achieve to play at the new Wembley, play at the old Wembley, but another little iron in my fire. But it's time for the young lads like Dave coming through to produce, hopefully, what I've produced, if you can.
Well, with 3 minutes to go, before that cross went in for your header, did you think the game was up?
No, the belief with these players is fantastic, to be honest with you. They're a great bunch of lads who keep believing, keep pursuing, keep training hard, keep working hard. And that paid off, to be honest, the last 3 minutes. Yeah. It's just the way it is, and what goes around comes around sometimes, I suppose.
Aaron, you haven't been playing quite so long as Marcus. How was that for you?
Oh, absolutely delighted. And to get the winning goal in front of a massive crowd like that, I'm absolutely over the moon. But the lads have put the work in all season, and that's what we've deserved.
Where do you think that performance came from?
We got belief. The gaffer came in and just said we've got to believe in ourselves, and we did. We've been drumming it into each other all week. We've got to win. It was 2-0 down, but we weren't having that. We come here to win. One game from Wembley, and you've got to give it your all, and we did.
And then when you took the lead overall on aggregate and Nottingham Forest pegged you back again, you found more reserves, didn't you?
Yeah, it was. I was just, my head was all over the place. It was up and down. But we're a fit bunch of lads as well. We've got young lads and the old lads with Stewie, a bit of experience. So it paid off well. And they was down to 10 men, we knew that, and we had more legs, I think, in the end. It paid off.
And Marcus, I believe Russell Slade took them all 10-pin bowling this morning. Is that the key?
Yeah, I think so. I kept missing the target this morning, so I made up for it this afternoon, or tonight.
And what about the final now? I mean, you're at Wembley. How does that feel?
It's a great achievement, especially, having looked like we might not achieve it. To come here against a good Forest side and win, I would say comfortably in the end, because we created so many chances. You just didn't think it was your night again, especially when the keeper saved my chance in the first half. You just thinking we have the same kind of night as we did last week, and luckily we didn't. We were a bit more ruthless tonight, and it paid off.
Aaron, it's fair to say Yeovil enjoyed the big stage after that one. I imagine you can't wait for Wembley now.
Oh, I can't wait. It hasn't really kicked in yet. I think tomorrow, or when we get in there, it will kick in. But go enjoy the weekend, watch the game tomorrow, the final, and get ready for next week, because we need to win it now we've got there.
Well, that's it. Is it about more than just getting there?
Yeah, of course it is. You don't want to go there just for a day out. It's not about that. We've set out to win, and that's what we're going to do, hopefully.
Well done.
Cheers, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
One a youngster making his way, the other one, what Indian summer it is for Marcus Stewart.
It's fantastic for both of them, isn't it? You know, and they both showed that the effort, if you like, the effort was in their faces as to what they showed today. And you've got to be fair, Yeovil were the best side on the day, and they deserve.
And probably fitter as well.
Yeah, they did. And as you know, Forest got less and less effective. Yeovil got more and more effective, and you know, they'll now lie at home tonight in their beds, and maybe the realisation of what an unbelievable feat it is for Yeovil to get to the new Wembley in a playoff final.
4 years after coming up from the conference, which you brought them up.
Yeah, unbelievable. And you know, there's some great people at the club. You know, the chairman, Steve Thompson's been there a long time, and Stuart Housley. There's some great people that you think back to during these occasions, and credit to the whole football club. The supporters were magnificent right till the end. And Forest have got to wait probably another year before they come back. But things, you know, they'll be favourites again next year, and they'll get their chance again.
Well, Leeds might be favourites, I don't know next year, but you never know. One of the two will be. You just don't score 5 goals away from home in a playoff match. You don't do it. Last night, Bristol Rovers did it. Tonight, Yeovil did it. It doesn't happen. It's happened twice in 2 nights.
Well, it just shows that when you've got to go out and get goals, there are players at this level with the quality to do that. Russell Slade said at the start of the game that it would be difficult to get 3 goals. Well, he got 5 goals. 3 goals were quite easy. And
it's unreal.
It was unbelievable.
Look at the extra time goals for us, Gary, would you? That's Lee Morris gets the extra time goal to put Yeovil up. on aggregate by 4-3, this one.
Well, it was a terrible back pass from a player that had only just come on as a substitute, and he really showed his cool there, and, you know, we thought he was going to hit it early, and he did a little shimmy and beat the goalkeeper and the defender really well, and it was a great goal, good finish.
And then Forest are effectively down to 9 men at this point because Alan Wright's done his calf and they've got no more subs, and David Prutton's been sent off, so it's effectively 9 men. But somehow they make it 4-all on aggregate.
Well, that's it. I mean, you know, it was a good move by Forest. It was a great ball forward, a touch of offside maybe, and certainly a great header back in. And at this stage, Gary Holt knows that he's got to take a chance, and he takes a chance and finishes it very well. That was a good team goal, that was, and then it looked like it was probably going to go to penalties.
And that's Forest desperately wanted penalties, didn't they?
Well, you could see they'd almost they had, you know, 10 men, 1 man limping, 3 lads that had cramp, and it looked like Forest were just desperate to get to penalties, and Yeovil then took over, and they did, as Aaron Davis said there, had the legs in the end.
Well, Aaron Davis scored the first goal and the last goal of the night, and if they're celebrating with a bit of champagne, they deserve to send a crate to you, I think, for bringing this boy to the club.
Oh, that's nice. You know, that's great, and there's some of the lads that I brought in, but also Russell Slade and Steve Thompson have brought in some good players. They've kept the philosophy going, if you like, of Yeovil Town, so as the board of directors, and it was great to see all the supporters celebrating with the players and the staff of Yeovil, and credit to them, and you know, we all, people that have been involved, all have a little lump in our throat at that point.
Yeah. And what a story as well for Russell Slade, a Nottingham Forest fan in his younger days. He's knocked his old club out. He was named as League One Manager of the Year earlier this week on Monday night at the LMA do in Nottingham. And he's had a fantastic season so far, hasn't he? He's off to Wembley, another playoff final for him. He was there last year with Grimsby. He's talking to Johnny Phillips now.
Russell, how do you feel after that?
I don't know how to feel, to be honest. Just so pleased, but exhausted as well. The lads put in so much effort, and obviously it took it out of me as well.
Well, if we start with the 90 minutes, Paul Smith was making save after save. Did you think it wasn't going to be your night?
Yeah, particularly when they scored early in the second half and made it 3-1. I mean, it was, you know, mountain to climb again. We'd done so well. I was happy with the first half performance, and then obviously to go behind was devastating, really. But they kept going and creating chances, and the chances never stopped coming.
And then the chances, as you said, didn't stop coming, and then right at the end, just 3 minutes to go, old Marcus Stewart popped up for you. There's a good old pro.
Yeah, it is, and it was timely, of course, but I couldn't remember the score at one stage. I just knew that it was either level or we were 1 in front, which was important, obviously.
Well, when you went in front overall on aggregate, and they were down to 10, did you think that then that you were through?
No, not at all. Never thought we were through. We're always virtually chasing the game, but, you know, to keep going and to keep creating the chances that we did and kept on the front foot for the majority of the game was frightening, really. It just, you know, I mean, they gave me everything. There's nobody out there could have given me anything more.
They weren't going to let you relax, though, were they? They let Forest back into it again, levelled it all up in extra time.
Well, we have a habit of not doing things easy, and we didn't, and they kept coming back at us, and Holt managed to get them back in again, but I thought there were some tired Forest legs out there, and I thought if we kept going, well, the opportunities would come again, and fortunately they did.
Do you know where they found those reserves from? Because, as you said, they just kept going, they kept creating chances. Not any team can do that.
No, a little bit of belief. We've got a belief in each other. We've got a terrific team spirit. Work very hard for each other. And it just happened for us today. Don't ask me how, I don't know. But we had a game plan, we were going to be positive, and we were.
And what about the preparations this morning? All-out 10-pin bowling, I believe, the team. That was an inspired stroke, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, we'd done enough, to be honest. We'd done enough in the middle of the week, and we had 1 or 2 niggly injuries. Chrissy Cohen came off, of course, because he had a bit of a groin problem. So it was important just to relax the lads and not get them bored. But, yeah, we enjoyed that. It was different. Might do it again now.
Well, Yeovil were many seasons' predictions for relegation this season. To now take them to Wembley in your first full season, what does it mean?
Oh, delighted to be in the final again. I was in the final last year. Just need to go that 1 step further this time. No, it's not going to be easy. No, it'll be a roller coaster, but it's great to be there.
Well, absolutely. But did you feel that you've done enough this season, or now you're there? Do you really think you can go on and get through?
No, not at all. Once you're there, you want a little bit more. You get greedy, and now we're in the final. We want to go all the way.
How does this night rank in your career so far as a manager?
Oh, I think it's a classic. The comeback and the football that we played is an absolute classic. It's fantastic to be part of. I mean, it's a heart attack material, really. I kept turning round to Mick and saying, is it good football, Mick? Is it good for television? I mean, it was a great night. It was a great night, and obviously, great night for us because we obviously won. Commiserations to Colin. His team battled and battled and battled, and, you know, you have to have some sympathy for, obviously, my opposite number.
If you can cope with this, you can cope with anything they throw at you now, can't you?
Well, I don't know. There's always twists and turns and something new in football, so nothing ever surprises you.
Well done tonight.
Thank you.
It was great television, Russell, I can tell you. It's a knockout just watching this stuff, never mind managing and playing in it. It's just madness, isn't it?
Well, it is, and you go through all the emotions during 90 minutes and the extra time, and you start thinking about who your penalty takers are going to be, and but, you know, Russell looks a lot more relaxed and happy there than he was at the start of the game. Yeah. And credit to him because, you know, he's got his team performing on the day. And as you said earlier, to score 5 goals at the City ground is really unbelievable.
I'll take you back to the start of the game then. And Aaron Davis getting the goal which Yeovil so badly wanted, the first goal of the match.
Yeah, it was a great individual goal, wasn't it? A good little touch from Marcus. Aaron had time and room all that first half. A clever run by Lee Morris, put everybody on the wrong foot, and a great strike from Aaron that we were saying at the top of the programme that they have to be careful of him with his strikes at goal.
And then early in the second half, Forest reassert themselves. Scott Dobie hadn't scored for, it just goes on, all these things. He hadn't scored for 21 months.
Yeah, well, that was a set play on the training ground. That one's been worked. There were some good runs there, and the lad Dobie found himself free on the far post. And I should think Russell and Steve would have been disappointed with that goal because, you know, they had people that would have been tracking people in the penalty area, but that got them back in it.
Alan Wright's had quite a day, hasn't he, really? He's been released by his main club, Sheffield United. He's scored an own goal for Yeovil and he's done his calf in.
Well, he should go straight home, go to bed, go to sleep and wake up and
I think so. Poor Alan, yeah.
Live for another day, but he was injured for most part of that, the second part of extra time.
Of course, Forest had used their subs.
And they'd used their subs, and that was unbelievable because I didn't realise how much of an own goal that was at the time.
And then one of the stories, there's about 25 stories here, but Marcus Stewart, did you see him at the end when he was just shouting to the fans? He's 34 years old, he's been to playoff finals before in the Championship level.
It's fantastic for him because, you know, you could see in his face what that meant to him, and as he said, when you get to that age, if you like, then there's not going to be many more things to do that give you that sort of passion and excitement. And you know, he's gone to Yeovil and he's done very well. And credit to him because he's got that bit of quality when you need it. We did warn people that he's very good in the air in the 6-yard box, and he proved that again there.
Yeah,
there's a great cross by Andy Lindegaard just at the right time, and Marcus was determined to get on the end of that.
Fantastic, wasn't it? I mean, how do you sum up a night like that?
Magnificent, I think, if you're Yeovil, of course. Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you're Forest, then it's a very disappointing night, and we saw the bits of disappointment at the end there. But, you know, the season comes round very quickly, and as I said, they'll be favourites again, and, you know, people have just got to rally round, and Colin's got to pick his lads up. I'm sure he'll make some changes, sort of thing, you know, and they'll come back. You've always got another year in football. You know, you get the disappointment, and that lad who was crying, who's 12 years old, he'll be 13 next year, and he might be smiling. You know, so it's you always live for another day.
Great. Okay.